Hello and welcome to Bar TV's coverage of the second leg of the second semi-final. Lambton up against Hamilton today, live from Arthur Eden Oval. Should be a cracker. Last week it was a 2-1 victory to Hamilton at Darling Street Oval. So Lambton are going to have to, we'll have to do the maths throughout the game, but Lambton are going to have to win today if they want to get through. If they do manage a goal and get a 1-0 victory, they will also go through, of course, on the away goal rule, but there's so many different things we'll have to go through. With me in commentary today is Chris Turner, and Chris, it's great to have you back. Blake's up at the New FM Grand Final today, so Chris has stepped in, which is great to have him here. And Chris, what are your thoughts on today's match?
Yeah, it should be a good one, I think. Obviously, it was close last game, so it should be pretty much more of the same today. They've been lining up in like a 4-2-3-1 formation, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep that same combination going again. We'll know that shortly after kickoff, but I expect it to be very close.
Well, the teams are just about to make their way out on the ground. We're just going to have a look now at the team sheets, and we're not too far away from kickoff. So we'll just check those, and we'll be underway in just a sec. All right, so here are the teams for the second leg of the second semi-final. For Lambton, in goals, number 1, Brad Swancott, 2, Tom Smart, 3, Michael Williams, 5, Pete McPherson, 7, Riley McNaughton, 9, Michael Bridges starts for the Jaffas, 10, John Majorowski, 12, Grant Brown, 17, Jamie Burns, 18, Luke Remington. On the bench for them, 8, Alex Palozzi, 13, Luke Willard, 14, Todd Griffin, 16, Aidan Palozzi, and 20, the reserve goalkeeper, Nate Cavalieri. For Hamilton, in goals, number 1, Danny Ireland, 3, Tom Davies, 4, Kyle Hodges, 6, Kane Goodchild, 7, Simon Mooney, 8, Jacob Bailey, 9, Andrew Swan, 10, Reece Cooper, 13, Mason Campbell, 14, Ben Coyner, 17, Pat Brown, and on the bench for the away side today, 12, Matt Swan, 15, Cody Lucas, 18, Alex Serapar, 19, Jason Korotic, and 21, the reserve goalkeeper, Josh Cox. And Chris, very interesting to see actually on the team sheets, Matt Swan on the bench for Hamilton, and for Lambton, Alex Palozzi on the bench. So really quite surprising.
It is and it isn't. Swanee's hurt his, I think it was his ankle. He's had an injury. I'll just check on that one shortly. But Alex Palozzi, yeah, for sure. I mean, he's an out-and-out first grader. He is a first-grade footballer, and he's probably going to be personally very disappointed he's not playing, but I can understand the rationale. He's bringing Jamie Burns into the team. I had a good chat to both coaches this morning, and he's bringing Jamie purely from he adds it in a number 10 role. He's going to add some mobility in defence, which he was looking for a little bit extra of that, and also he's going to give him a lot of work rate up top. So that's interesting how that goes. And Michael Bridges is coming in the right side end of the park.
It'll be interesting to see how Lambton do come out this week. Last time they were on Bar TV was against Edgeworth. They went down 2-1 that day. Dave Tancheski at the end of the match wasn't happy with Edgeworth's physicality, so I wonder if Hamilton took a leaf out of their book. Did you see any of the game last week? We weren't at the game, but did you catch any of it?
No, I didn't get any of the game either, unfortunately.
Hamilton leading 2-0 after Jacob Bailey scored in the 35th and Kane Goodchild in the 61st. Then Pete McPherson made it 2-1 in the 75th. So an interesting week. We were at the WPL Grand Final last week, but we're underway here in the second leg of semi-final number 2 versus 3. So the mathematical equation really kicks in this game. I don't mind the 2 legs. I like having a look at that equation that will occur later on in the game. Of course, Lambton, if it is 2-1 at the end of the game, then we'll be going into extra time if it is 2-1 to Lambton. If any more, and we are level on aggregate, more than Lambton leading by 1-0. If it's 3-2 or 4-3, then it will be Hamilton who go through on that away goal rule.
This game, we were talking about the lineups before, so just getting a look at the stoppage when it happened. Lambton certainly lined up in a 4-2-3-1 type formation, and looking across the park there now, Goodchild appears to be playing a lone striker also. So this is a game that's likely to be won in the middle of the park because you could simply both teams playing in the same formation. Probably with, when you look at each side's got 5 in the middle of the park, you've got 10 guys playing in that space. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top here. Both teams have got some great attacking weapons in there. And this injection of Jamie Burns could really be a difference for Lambton this week.
Well, the last game here at Arthur Eden Oval, it was 0-0 between the two sides, Hamilton and Lambton. That was back in round 13, that match, the 0-0 scoreline. So that was an interesting showdown between the two sides. So it's going to have to be more than that for Lambton today.
It's great when you get into the semi-finals football and watching the game yesterday, how physical it became.
Corner whipped in, not one of his best, and that is just going to result in a goal kick there for Brad Swancott.
That's probably adrenaline. We'll put that one down too. But yesterday's game out Broadmeadow against Worth, when everything's on the line like it is, guys are putting their bodies on the line and they're playing that little bit extra. They're putting that little bit extra in, 5-10% more in their tackles, whatever. And it's interesting to see how this game progresses as we get deeper into it.
Well, it was an interesting. You were at that game yesterday. I didn't see it, but 3-3 the first leg. It was an entertaining game last week at Magic Park. And then yesterday, 0-0, but you said equally as entertaining yesterday as it was last weekend.
Look, the first half, to be honest, it was fairly average. The play itself was a lot of turnover of the football. There wasn't a whole lot of possession. But then as the game moved in, in Broadmeadow, they just had to win. Everything opened up.
Here's Simon Mooney finding Kane Goodchild. Grant Brown getting in with the head, and it's over on this near side for McNaughton. Playing it back to Brown again. Finds Bridges, who's starting today for Lambton. Hasn't started in the game we've had so far this year. There's a ball over the top. Can Swancott get out? He does so. He does well, Brad Swancott. Knocks it up the ground. Majerowski with the header. Jamie Burns taken down up against his former side. Oh, Bridges, bit of an elbow and shoulder. Bailey and Swan into it, and we heard last week it was a very tense battle between these two sides.
Gee, a little bit out of character there for Bridgie by the look of that. He certainly had something, a point to prove right there. He's not going to take any rubbish today. And he's just let Jacob Bailey know all about it.
Here's Mason Campbell tripping one forward. Header away there from Grant Brown. Mooney on the ball for them now. Simon Mooney down into that corner. Grant Brown going down and trying to run him off the ball, but Mooney gets it back, chips it towards the back post, not one of his best balls. And
I'm going to put that one down to adrenaline as well from Simon. He is normally quite accurate from that sort of location.
Here is Pat Brown on the ball. He had a wonderful performance last time Hamilton were on Bar TV back in round 16 against West, and he scored a hat-trick. Man of the match on that occasion. Michael Bridges up the line. Kyle Hodges getting the clearance away. Williams with the header. Mooney on the ball again for Hamilton. You spoke to Dave Chancheski, as you said, Chris. Did he mention how often in the last few weeks Michael Bridges has started for them? Because he hasn't started in the game that we've done all season.
No, I did ask that question. I said to him, is he match fit? And he said, look, he started against South Cardiff 2 weeks ago and he played 80 minutes. And he said he played a good 80 minutes as well. So, if he's done that and he's been training, there's no reason why he couldn't go the whole way. But I guess, he's got Palozzi on the bench, which can come in at any time of the game and go the whole duration.
Well, I think Alex Palozzi will add a lot of impact for Lambton, just as Jamie Burns probably had for them in the past when he's been on the bench. But there's definitely a lot of tension between Hamilton and the Hamilton players and Jamie Burns. Of course, started the season at Hamilton and moved to Lambton mid-season. Wasn't getting much game time, so that was the reason for that move. He played for South Cardiff last year. Jamie Burns had a fantastic year, scored 10 goals, and just the 1 goal this year for the Jaffas.
I've been watching Jamie Burns play since he was 17 years old.
Well, here's Tom Davies blowing up here. Jamie Burns has bumped the amount of tension in this game. Tom Davies getting up, absolutely furious with Jamie Burns, who came across to shake his hand, give him a high five, help him up.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Jamie. What he's doing here, he's injecting himself into the game and putting himself about. His big issue here, he doesn't do too much of it and get himself a card and then a send-off from a second or a straight red, because he can fire up. And if he does lose a little bit of control there, then it could spell trouble for Lambton. But, on the other side of things, what he is doing, he's busy, he's got his arms out, he's nudging against players, he's making himself feel present, and that's what they need. They need to attack and be right into it.
Well, that is the last thing you want to do, especially in a semi-final. It's a selfish act getting sent off, I must say, in a big match like this. So,
look, I think it's a real smart move from Tanchevsky to put him on in a game like this because they have to win the game, and he's a match winner. But he's going to, as I said before, he'll add a lot in defence as well as what he will do in attack. So
he's got that speed, hasn't he, to get back and backtrack and help out.
And he's
defense.
A good natural tackler. Look at him now; he's right. He's wanting to have a look around his shoulder, see where everyone is. Going to drop himself in behind the ball, and he's ready to go before it's hit. So that's what he's got in his game.
Ball now with Ben Coyner. Is that a good year for Hamilton? He scored 3 goals this season. Bridges on the ball, looking wide for that man, Jamie Burns. Kyle Hodges coming across. Shoulder to shoulder they go. It'll be an interesting contest all afternoon. Burns gets around Hodges. Hodges can't stop him. Back to Brown. And Brown's ball is blocked by Bailey. Bridges coming onto this near side just in front of us. Bridges plays it to Brown now. Reece Cooper. A lot of energy early on in this game. You don't think they can sustain it for 90 minutes, I don't think. Tom Davies intercepts Tom Smart's pass.
Well, the grand final spot is on the line today, so I won't be surprised if this game does go at this pace the whole way.
Well, of course, Lambton, if they do make the grand final, it'll be the second year in a row for them. Here's Jamie Burns playing, or so I should say it was Remington playing it to Burns, who gets fouled, gets up. Now into Mooney. Here's a yellow card. Simon Mooney not getting back the required distance from the free kick.
Yeah,
probably didn't know much about that Simon Mooney. I don't think he was doing it on purpose.
I don't think so either. And if you have that situation happen, maybe he was a bit slow getting out of the way, but it was certainly intentional to hit it into him so that he does force that yellow.
Yeah, I think that's a harsh one against Simon Mooney, but that's the rule, unfortunately. So you don't see it used all the time, but Michael Sessions now with the free kick.
Simon's going to be on good behaviour all game, that's for sure right now.
Swan over towards the sideline. Of course, one thing we should mention, Joe Wheelhouse out of this game.
Yeah, he's apparently he's got a spur on his heel. So Tanch was telling me that he's been trying to get it right all week, but he couldn't get it ready.
He had a boot on his foot at the start of the game when I saw him. Danny Ireland gets down low against his former club. Of course, both the goalkeepers up against each other today. Adds a little bit more spice to this game. Danny Ireland with the goal kick. Just a reminder, those scores from earlier. The Newcastle Jets youth with a 1-0 win over Hamilton Olympic, and Broadmeadow with a 2-0 win. I believe that was over Hamilton. They've taken down the sign. I'm pretty sure it is, because otherwise they would have left it up there. Yeah, Broadmeadow with a 2-0 win there. Jets youth 1-0 over Hamilton in the game before. Those finals action next week, we'll be having, most likely we'll be having those 22s and 19s games on Bar TV, but we'll put it out midweek and tell you if we are or are not having those. He's Swan on the ball. Majorowski goes down, holding his head. Did see a little collision, and the referee's going to hold up play.
Swan's not happy. He doesn't think he really collected him, but I think it appeared like that he did get a bit of a clip.
There's a lot of it's incredible, this game. There is so much at stake in this contest today. As we said, 2 draws in the regular season, 1-1 between these two sides back in round 4, which was really played like it was a round 6 game in a sense, because it was their 6th match, both sides 6th match of the season. And of course, as we spoke about the game that we had here on Bar TV, round 13 was a 0-0 draw. The only time one of these two sides has got a victory over each other was last week when Hamilton won 2-1. Davies with the header. Tried to be controlled there by Goodchild. Now McPherson. We spoke a lot about in the last game. We'll just see how Lambton play off this little attacking ray, but it's played straight to Andrew Swan. In regards to Pete McPherson this season, you said he's such an influential player as the free kick goes Hamilton's way. He's such an influential player. He stood up for Lambton last week and grabbed them a goal back, and they really needed that.
Yeah, Pete's abilities are that he's tight ball control is exceptional. Probably the best in the league. His ability to have 2 and 3 players on him and trying to tackle him and still be at ease and then get the ball away pretty much all of the time is a real talent. He can change games by that fact. He can have things close. He can draw players in and open holes up for other people, and that's what he tends to do a lot.
Well, here we go. Simon Mooney. I'm presuming he's going to take this one. Maybe not. Kane Goodchild standing over it. Also, Pat Brown on the far side. They got 3. Going to try and trick us. We'll see what they come up with. Pat Brown looks like he's lining it up as if he's going to take it. And Pat Brown does take it. He hits it, not one of his best efforts, into the big crowd down the northern end of Arthur Eden Oval. Massive crowd today here at Lambton. We haven't seen a crowd this big all season, and so it should be the biggest crowd all season that they've had here. It was
a big crowd yesterday over at Edgeworth as well. I could say that's similar numbers as well, and it's good to see this many people getting out, on a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful day for it. And you talk about the tensions, and why everything's on the line. Everyone wants to play in the grand final. It's the biggest day of the footballing season. And, springtime, good weather, as we've had in plenty of other years. It's great to be a part of, and so everyone's going to go that little bit harder today.
Here's a ball over the top. Majorowski after it, but Mason Campbell gets back. Bailey flicking it on to Mooney. Lovely skills there from Simon Mooney. Williams turns it over, but then gets it back. McNaughton past to Bridges. His ball wasn't one of his best, and Sessions goes back to Swancott. Goes long, swirling in the breeze here. Hodges with the header. I was up near that Jaffas 10 at the northern end of the ground. It's a beautiful view from up there in the afternoon. Nice weather, as we said here. This is Pat Brown on the ball. McNaughton pressuring him. Goes down the line. Bridges on the ball. Queener puts pressure on him and wins a throw to Michael Bridges for Lambton. Just over 13 minutes gone. It's Lambton 0, Hamilton 0. At this stage, it will be Hamilton that will be in the grand final. The 0-0 scoreline. Just like it was yesterday, Edgeworth getting through after it was 0-0 in the second leg at Edgeworth after a 3-3 scoreline in the first leg. Sessions now playing it to Swancott, who was man of the match last time these two sides met at Arthur Eden Oval. He had a wonderful day that day. Brad Swancott made some terrific saves.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before, but he turns up on the days. Here he is right now.
Well, he's had a great save there from Swancott. Good shot with the header, and gee, as you said, right on cue there, Chris.
Yeah, he really does. He really does stand up for these types of games, and his activity in the box is fantastic because he can play with his feet. He's very vocal. He gets his defences organised. You'll see him, barking instructions all game. He just doesn't stop. Throw
for Hamilton, I should say, down in the northern corner.
He's not much better when you play golf with him either. It's more of the same.
Here's the header across the face, knocked away there by McNaughton. It bounced back up for Reece Cooper. Now sits up for Mooney. Headed out wide. Looked like Brown just getting his... it was Jamie Burns. A lot of redheads out there for Lambton today. McNaughton, of course, Brown as well. Makes it a bit hard.
Mooney's a ranger.
Mooney as well. Record-breaking day. It's played back now. John Majorowski on the ball. Here is McNaughton playing it wide. Here is Grant Brown on the ball. Back to McNaughton. He plays it wide for Bridges. Holds it up and whips it in, and Hodges getting rid of it nicely. Coiner on the ball. Playing it long for Goodchild. Sessions trying to get around him and get to the ball first, but it was a little bit too much on the ball, and it ran straight to Brad Swancott.
And this is where Swanee does make a difference. He's able to get off his line with confidence. He'll come outside the box and make a tackle, or he'll come out and actually play as a, like a second sweeper, if you like, and having that ability as a footballer is just fantastic. It's an asset to your team when you can do that. And he's crafted that one out of playing futsal or indoor soccer, over as a boy, and he did it for years.
Well, it's a poor ball back. Goodchild sends his man down this near side at Swan. Still Andrew Swan down the left, cuts it back into the middle. Lambton do well in defence. Wide now for Grant Brown. Pat Brown putting some pressure on him. The two Browns coming together. McNaughton up the ground. Majorowski. The back now, McNaughton on the ball. Played back to Swancott, who knocks it up the ground. Looks like it could. Thought it was finding its way over the sideline, but it just snuck inside. Brown finds Majorowski, puts it through. Jamie Burns has got more pace than Kyle Hodges. And Burns puts it in the middle, looking for Remington, but it wasn't his greatest ball. Lambton with the throw, though. These two sides, their last 8 meetings. Lambton have won 4. They've drawn 3, and Hamilton just the 1 win, and that was last week. Chipped in towards the back post, and Hamilton, well, they have a grudge to against Lambton in terms of finals matches. I'll speak about that. We see what Reece Cooper can do down in the corner. Runs down and over for a goal kick. Yeah, in the 2013 final series, they played each other 2 weeks apart. I'm pretty sure. I think it was the first week of the finals and then the third week to the end of the grand final. It was 1-1 regulation time, and both times Lambton got the job done in a penalty shootout. So it must have been a frustrating 2013, especially for Hamilton taking on Lambton. And, of course, in 2014, Hamilton missed the finals altogether. Back to Bridges. Nice skill.
Yeah, touches class there, wasn't it?
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Bridges, but it's been turned over by Remington now. Coyne, good tackle from Bridges. Can Grant Brown stop it inside the byline? He should easily. Does so. Whips into the middle.
Great
Remington
cross.
Flying across with the header.
Gee,
Big
just needed
chance.
a piece of that. Here we go again. Majorowski.
Oh, John Majorowski puts it on his left foot, cuts it back. Danny Ireland. He's so good like that, isn't he?
Yeah,
That's
his reach
everything.
is phenomenal. He's certainly going to have to whip it out wider than that. He probably would have been aiming for the pen spot. Might have been a slightly better location for that one, just to get it away from Ireland.
That's Danny Ireland playing in the UK. He was played for Coventry City 2008 to 2012 and went on a few loans to Nuneaton Town, Halesowen Town and Forest Green Rovers. Came back to Australia in 2012 and, of course, played for Lambton in 2014. And then to Hamilton this season. Bridges now. Trying to play it wide, but Reece Cooper's there. Trying to play it across the ground. It went off the back of McPherson's heel. And now McNaughton takes on Swan and wins the free kick. And we're almost 19 minutes gone. Lambton 0, Hamilton 0. And Chris, not too many chances early on in this game this afternoon, but both sides just seem to be feeling each other out as we see Bridges plays it to Majorowski, steps on his left, and good chance, and gives away the free kick.
This is very similar to what happened yesterday with Edgeworth and Broadmeadow. Lots of turnover. It was very quick. The ground was similarly a little bit bumpy, so it was hard to get a control of. It was that last 30 minutes yesterday where the game just opened right up. It was end-to-end football. I was talking to former Broadmeadow coach Damien Smith on the phone while the game was going on and letting him know because he wasn't at the ground, and I could barely keep up with the conversation because there was that much action.
Here's Bridges. Yeah, well, it's amazing. That's one of the best things about finals football is that both sides are playing to win. There's no, we'll play for the 1 point this afternoon. They're both out there trying to get the job done, and they'll do whatever they can to get the victory.
We saw some sensational football from Broadmeadow late in the game. There's only 2 or 3 minutes. Free kick outside the box, and Peter Haynes has hit a free kick that he would be happy with for the rest of his life. And Jim Fogarty's pulled out probably the save of the season for me. Unbelievable strike and unbelievable save. That's the sort of desperation that you're going to find in finals football.
Well, Jim Fogarty's of course, he's been one of Edgeworth's best players this season, but he would have to be a little disappointed he missed that game against Melbourne City. Ben Smith deputising, of course, that shoulder injury. Played wide to Grant Brown, but gee, he's made every post a winner this year. As ball played back post, Majorowski sits up for him. Handball, I think, against him. Hamilton with a free kick, but Jim Fogarty, he hasn't let it get to him that he missed that massive game, and he's just trying to do whatever he can for the rest of this season to make it count.
Yeah, for sure. He's been fantastic for them, and he's been very solid in the sticks. And if you're going to win in premierships, you've got to have a great goalkeeper, despite how long you're going to spend at the hairdressers, the barber shop, working on your Ned Kelly.
Brad Swan got on the ball. And Lambton, he's going to look long. Does so. Bit of a crosswind. He's sliced it again. Pat Brown goes up for the head, and this one's into the crowd.
And that's an intentional slice from Swanee. He puts a bit on it like that so it'll hold up a little bit when it's being on the receiving end for the footballers.
Here's Swan. Back to Hodges. Up the line. Williams on the ball now. McPherson. Bridges. To Burns. Back to Bridges. Little touch into the middle of the ground. Mason Campbell on the ball now for Hamilton. Majorowski getting there, but it came off probably the bottom of his shoe and over the goal line.
You got, McNaughton, McPherson sitting and holding, two holding midfielders, and then you got Jamie Burns sitting in front forming that triangle, which is a really good triangle to have because Jamie's going to give you everything in defence. You're going to pour on the attack, and then you got Majorowski sitting at the top end of that in the number 9 position. And what he's going to do is hold the ball all day, and he's so clever on his feet. He can make little half chances into full goals, and so they're so dangerous in the middle of the park, Lambton.
I think Jamie Burns and John Majorowski are pretty good pair to have up there because one's can hold the ball very well and one's very quick, and they can work well together. Hamilton similarly, Goodchild and Mooney up the front as well. Swancott after this one. Pat Brown trying to get across, and Swancott does well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you go across both teams and you have a look at the midfielders, and without going through them individually now, you can just feel confident with midfields like that's going to be a cracking game because there's going to be so much quality through the middle of the park.
Here's Coyne up, looking wide for Simon Mooney. Going down towards the sideline over there. Still Mooney on the ball. Turned over and over the sideline. Interesting stat for Hamilton is that they're undefeated in 18 of their last 20 matches in the NPL. That goes back to last season. This ball put in across the face, Swancott grabs it, and they've won 4 of their last 5. For Lambton, they're undefeated in 12 of their last 14, but they've won 9 of their last 12. They have come home like a steam train in the back half of the season.
Yeah, they sure have, and you can debate about when's a good time to start pre-season, whether it's early or it's late. There's certainly time in their run again this year perfectly for the finals.
Here's Brad Swancott again. He's been doing a lot of work down that end, more so than Danny Ireland. Not too much very hard saves, but he's had to do his fair share of coming out, grabbing the ball, goal kicks, all sorts of things for Swancott this afternoon.
He's shaping up to go long, but, I mean, this is where he can actually play. I mean, he's got the ability to pick people out. He's picking Madger there and creating opportunities. So that was all very well calculated from Swancott.
Well, here's Remington on the ball. He's got very good speed across the ground. Chips it back towards the middle. Gee, that's great work from Jacob Bailey. Getting down low and...
Clever chip.
Knocking it away because Burns with breathing down his neck. Here's Mooney down the right-hand side for Hamilton. Sabs it towards the middle. Straight down Brad Swancott's throat.
I would expect that sort of strike from Simon Mooney would get there 95 times out of 100. So maybe the game's just still got a little bit more settling in to do.
He's smart. Looking for Majorowski. Finds him. Bridges now. Lets it run on to Grant Brown.
It's very clever.
Bridges back on the ball again. Chipping it. Looking for Burns, but a little bit far. Maybe he was looking for Luke Remington there, Michael Bridges, because you don't see him miss a target by that much. If he was looking for Burns, it went way over his head. Remington down the left side. They've given him some space. Luke Remington. He's got Burns in the middle. Still Remington cuts it back. Gee, good chance there for Lambton, but Bridges wasn't quite there at the back post. And once it ran past Burns, there really wasn't too much of an issue for Hamilton. Brown, a long sleeve yellow shirt. Chips up, and Jamie Burns after it. Puts a very heavy touch. He was clipped by Cooper. And the referee gives the free kick, and Reece Cooper says, what? Surely not. And Jamie Burns, well, he's done well there. Win a free kick for Lambton. Good position for them to score the opening goal this afternoon.
This is a great position to have a free kick.
Danny Ireland's grabbed the hat out now. He's done pretty much straight into his eye line looking in that direction. Michael Bridges standing over it. Jaffas fans in the background watching on. Young kids just behind the goal. They've been giving it to Danny Island this afternoon. Bridges whipping it in. Majorowski on the header. She probably just came a bit hard for Majorowski there. He couldn't react in time and got a bit late and over for a goal kick.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that free kick from there. That he's hit that with some almost a bit of topspin to make it get there purposefully. He just put it in there at that sort of speed, and anything can happen. Yeah, sure, it came off the corner of Madge's head, but it can be come off a shoulder or a knee or whatever, and it bounces around like a pinball machine there. That's dangerous, and it's a very, very smart free kick.
Well, here's Danny Island now, up over halfway. Smart. Now good job down the line, Simon Mooney. Hamilton with some better field position now. Taken, nicked by Tom Smart there. Stabbing it forward, and Kyle Hodges gets it back for Hamilton. Bailey on the ball. Going back to the right. Simon Mooney whipping it into the middle of the box. Good jobs after it, and Brad Swancott goes up beautifully and makes a good save there for Lambton. And it remains 0-0, 27.5 gone. Leg 2 of semi-final number 2. It's all on the line. Hamilton with a 2-1 lead going into this game. And Luke Remington with some space in front of him now. He gets around. He's got Swan to beat. Luke Remington still going. No free kick from the referee. And now McNaughton chipping it over towards Bridges as he got the pace and keep it in before the line. He can't do so, Michael Bridges there, and only a goal kick here for Hamilton. But Lambton just seemed to be warming up here, Chris. They were being dominated early on in terms of field position, and Hamilton were right down inside their attacking end. But now Lambton just starting to even it up a bit.
Yeah, they've definitely changed the area of where the game's being played. We've moved down, to their middle, third and top end part of the park where they're getting balls played in now consistently. And you're right, that is a change from probably 10 minutes ago.
There's Bridges looking down the line, but come off the back of Swan's leg and over the sideline. Back for McPherson. Up the line.
Good to see Michael Williams get his chance today for Lambton. He comes in. Kevin Davidson, according to Tanch, has hurt his groin. So, he's a quality footballer, Mickey Williams, and he's not out of place in this sort of game today.
Kevin Davidson with that injury in the game against Edgeworth. He got flattened. He went over Keanu Moore, went base over Apex that day. So good to know that he's okay from that collision. Pat Brown down towards the corner on that far side. Tom Smart. Now Coyner chipping it over the top. Pat Brown is after it. Tom Smart does well to control the ball and not let Pat Brown get a second look at that one.
That was exceptional play there, because that's the sort of thing that can create goals.
Well, here's Remington again. A little tug on the back of his shirt from Davies. He wins the free kick, and so he should there. Davies was all over him. There were 3 Hamilton players there trying to stop Luke Remington. He's causing chaos at the moment for Hamilton at the back.
Got to be careful with a shirt pull like that, because that's one that can result in a yellow card. And potentially, if he does go through, the send-off is, there if he does that in the wrong areas. So I think he got away with that a little bit.
I think it was Tom Davies there, just grabbing hold of Luke Remington's shirt.
Player for player here, they're picked up and they're very, very tight.
Well, here's Bridges, another good free kick. Swan getting down low. And Tom Smart getting in, parallel to the ground there, with Swan getting that header out of their red zone. Tom Davies now with the throw for Hamilton. Inside that 18-yard box. Hamilton doing pretty well. Thought there was a handball there from Goodchild, but referee said I wasn't. And Lambton trying to play it away. Reece Cooper with the chest down, and it ricocheted to McNaughton, who looks long for Majorowski. Can he run it down? Mason Campbell with some pressure on him. Still Majorowski. He's got Jamie Burns in the middle, but he goes back to Bridges. Michael Bridges takes on Bailey. Still Michael Bridges. He hits the shot. Slices at Michael Bridges, but shows, that skill that we know that he can possess. And, a good chance for Lambton there.
See, the highlight for me is the ability from Majorowski to hold the ball up like he does. When he holds the ball up like that, just brings the other players into the game. And bringing the other players into the game, he's done that with Bridges. Bridges, his little jink there and open, create some space is just absolute class. It's a good deep strike from Ireland.
Jacob Bailey and Jamie Burns going into it there. And back for Bailey. Great to have your company here on Bar TV this afternoon. Final round, or final semi-final. Luke Remington taking on Tom Davies down that far side. Remington putting it in, just didn't get enough on it. Mason Campbell playing it out. Pat Brown, some pressure on him. And Mason Campbell chipping it up the line, looking for Goodchild and Sessions. And Michael Sessions wins the free kick there. Could have gone either way, I think, but Sessions got the call there from the referee. Danny Olin coming out and grabbing hold of that one. For Lambton this season, 4 clean sheets compared to 8 last year. So defensively, they were a lot better in 2014. Attacking-wise, Lambton kept scoreless twice in 2014. And in 2015, they've been kept scoreless just the once. And that was against Hamilton back in round 13. And for Hamilton, they've kept 4 clean sheets last year and 5 this year, so pretty even there, and have been kept scoreless 3 times, both this year and last year. So pretty close. The only major difference between both sides in terms of goals scored and goals conceded is Lambton. They kept double the amount of clean sheets last year that they've kept this year. So I think those injuries early on to the season to Tom Smart and Michael Sessions played a role in them not being as defensively sound as what they were last season. Kane Goodchild now down this near side. Got Grant Brown with a bit of pressure and wins the free kick. So Hamilton now down that attacking end.
I'm told it's Matt Swan's last game with Hamilton today, regardless of the result.
So even if they do get the job done and get through to the grand final, he won't be playing next week. Is that right?
Yeah, if my understanding from Bolchi was right, he's got some work, fly-in, fly-out sort of work. I think he might have said Perth or Northern Territory, I'm not sure, but either way, that's going to start shortly. So he's had a bit of an injury as well. He played 20 minutes or so in the last game, came off the bench, and he's on the bench feeling okay today, apparently.
So no more next year as well. So last game for Hamilton.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's Kane Goodchild trying to get inside the 18. It sits up. The shot off the bar. Gee. Sits up for Reece Cooper now. Hamilton go as close as we've got so far in this game to a goal. Gee, that would have been a big one for them, going ahead 3-1 on aggregate.
Absolutely, and I don't think Swanee saw too much of that one at all.
Swancott coming out and chewing a little bit of time off the clock. Dave Chancheski not happy with the speed at which Swancott is going at the moment. Andrew Swan with a header over the sideline. Majorowski now on the ball. Bailey goes towards the sideline. Header from Williams over the sideline, and Hamilton with the throw. Home and away wise, both these teams this season, Lambton have an all right record at home. They've only lost the one match at home. Lambton, free kick going the way there of Hamilton. That game they did lose at home was to Edgeworth, game we covered. That was their only loss at home this season. And for Hamilton, they've only had the one loss away from home, and that was to Edgeworth as well. 3-1 at Jack McLaughlin Oval. So both sides, for Lambton just the one loss at home and Hamilton just the one loss away. So a great record going into this one.
A very dangerous ball in there from Mooney.
Looks like it's gone over, and goal kick for Brad Swancott. But really not too much excitement in the opening 36 minutes here, Chris. It's been not the greatest half of football we've seen.
No, this is typical of finals football. The guys are out there, they're not going to make it too pretty. They just want to get the job done. And that means probably in games like this, it's going to mean the tackles are going to be a bit stronger. We've seen that from Bridges, from Burns, from Bailey. it's not as pretty normally, this type of football, because it's so desperate. Everything's on the line for today. After today, someone's going home and they don't have anything to do next week in terms of their football. So these guys, as I said before, they'll do everything they can to make this game a success.
Well, here's Jamie Burns cutting it across. Majorowski almost getting a touch on it. Down the island, watching it go over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick.
Madger might be kicking himself there that he didn't put his head onto that one. He tried to get a boot on that, but in that option, in that instance, it wasn't the right choice.
And here he is, Danny Ireland.
No doubt he'll be thinking about that one later.
Here's Bridges on the ball. Must have been a really surprising game last week. Surprising game last week. As you said, finals football normally not as exciting. Last week with that 3-3 scoreline, Jamie Burns with a shot. Ireland straight to him there. Well, it was a very entertaining game last week.
Yeah.
It sort of bucked the trend.
I find them very entertaining for sure because they're so desperate. I was just making the point before. Generally not as pretty. Guys are, more likely to be stroking the ball around and concentrating on possession and their shape and formation. But this sort of football is just about getting the job done. Good, bad, or ugly.
Do you think Michael Balch today? You had a chat to him. Does he want to try and keep play more defensive today with the lead, or was he trying to go for maybe one or two more goals? As Tom Smart puts it down to Tom Davies on that far side.
It's not in Balchi's nature. It's not in his nature to sit back and look for a draw to go through on that way. He'll want the next goal. He'll be stressing to his players all week and putting his patterns in play to score goals. And no doubt, if they get another one, then it's going to make things really difficult for Lambton because, then a bit of doubt creeps on your mind. So there's no way he's going to sit back in, as Edgeworth did yesterday. They were never intent to sit back and just be happy with a draw.
Ball down towards the sideline. Mooney keeps it inside the line. He did really well down there, Simon Mooney. Still going. Plays into the middle for Reece Cooper. Going down there. McNaughton, Grant Brown, I should say, with the long sleeves, and Swancott takes the free kick. But really, the opening 10 minutes was very physical. Both sides were going at it very hard, and there was a lot of emotion. But since those first 10 minutes have died down, it sort of died down a little bit, and both sides have got into the game and played some football.
Well, there's a rare mistake from Pete McPherson.
Bailey goes wide to Davies. Down the line. Trying to find Pat Brown. Pat Brown holding it up on the edge of the 18. Still Pat Brown. And it's going to be a corner kick for Hamilton, so a good chance for them now. Speaking
to Graham Law a little bit earlier, and he's buzzing at the thought that Adamstown could be playing in finals football, and when the teams are all so close as they are, that's the sort of reality. I did ask him if he wanted to come and join us for a quick chat, but probably no use because we couldn't understand him.
Pat Brown with the corner kick. Graham's been great this year. Of course, we've only had the one Adamstown game, which was disappointing. Whipped in towards the back post and over the byline, going to be a goal kick. But Adamstown, only the one match. Unfortunately, we don't pick the games. That's up to Northern. So normally it goes to sides that are in the top rungs of the ladder, and Adamstown weren't there for a majority of the season, and so unfortunately that. We weren't able to do a majority of their games. But it would have been great to get out and catch more of Adamstown. Yeah, well, Graham Law's been a great asset for Adamstown. He's just established them into this top-flight football after being out of it for such a long time. And they did pretty well this year. It's not a failure. Fifth spot on the ladder with a league with some of the quality of, Michael Bridges playing for Lambton. Magic as well. Peter Haynes and Cale Bradbury up front. Goodchild was desperately unlucky there. It just bounced just in the wrong place over the top of his head. Any other contact with the part of his body, he would have got a hold of it and put something on it. Well, another corner here for Hamilton, so they've been down Lambton's end for a little bit. Probably the start of the game, Hamilton had the better of it down down Lambton's end, then Lambton through the middle section, and now it's back to Hamilton down that far end of the ground. So it's whipped in across the face. Swancook goes down, and a goal kick.
It's a great ball in. Yeah, but just talking about Adamstown as well, they'd been out of the this competition for a number of years, and so they're getting themselves back up and bringing him in. I think that he's done a fantastic job because they've effectively re-established themselves back in the top flight, and he'll be looking to go better than that next year for sure. And I think it won't be a surprise to see them in semi-finals football. Could tell in the tone in his voice he wanted to be a part of this stuff today. Couldn't hear what he was understand what he was saying, but I could tell in the tones that he was.
Well, I interviewed him at the start of the season at the season launch, and he was very adamant that Adamstown were in it, and they were a big chance of winning the competition this year, and it was just unlucky, the injuries. Graham, I've spoken to him plenty of times, and he's told me injuries, I don't use them as an excuse, but no. I'm sorry, the injuries that they suffered this year, they crippled Adamstown, and they could have done better with a bit more luck in that department.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed now where you're going to use, 22 players, for example. You've got to nominate your squad. So it is all about depth, and I agree with him. And I also understand what you're saying, but, you can't use that excuse, but you can't help but think what may have been.
Mooney whips it across the face.
If they didn't have those types of injuries. And, I admire him by not excusing the club that we didn't go any further because of the injuries. And, and that's where you've got to be very careful on your selection of your 22 or your 23-man squad. They've obviously got the depth there, and so they've been competitive. It's just a couple of those games where you maybe something's happened where you've lost 3 points, Ben, and so it gets very, very hard as a coach because you'll remember those moments.
That's right. They took it to a lot of the top sides this year at Adamstown, and probably a little unlucky not to. Sorry, they finished the season in 6th. I think I said 5th before. Western were in 5th spot. So Reece Cooper now trying to get the ball and go on a run down the left side, but it went over the sideline. Yeah, Adamstown with the 6th spot on the ladder. Across the face now. Sessions goes up to Majorowski, got in front of Kyle, just behind him, but held it up, but Hodges just got the ball last ditch there. Across now the far side of the ground. Tom Smart plays it to Luke Remington. Remington back to Smart. Going across towards Majorowski. Bridges there as well. Pat Brown on the ball. Little chip over the top of Brown. Grant Brown. And Pat Brown going again.
Yeah, it's Hodges. Good skill.
Now Bridges. Flick over the top. Jamie Burns after it. He's got more pace than Kyle Hodges, and Kyle Hodges trying to control it down in the corner. Swan coming in. And Lambton win the throw. Jamie Burns with a wry smile on his face.
Yeah, he's probably thinking that he was taken a bit heavy from behind there, and I'm a bit surprised there wasn't a bit more of a call for a free kick.
Well, they're not saying anything to each other, Jamie Burns and Andrew Swan, so I don't think they're... As the ball put across the face. Island goes up, and for once he doesn't take it.
He had to overstretch on that one. That was always looking in doubt.
It's coming up to half-time. We've got about 10 seconds left in regulation time in the first half. It is Luke Remington getting away and shooting and scoring for Lambton. Luke Remington out of absolutely nowhere. There's the backflip. It's out again. And Lambton with a 1-0 lead. And Chris, where did that come from?
It just came out of nothing, really, didn't it? I mean, we've had end-to-end. We've had a couple of half chances, hit the crossbar, but that one didn't look like anything early, 20 seconds beforehand, and now it's just pick it out at the back of the net.
And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Lambton go through to next week if the score remains like it is now.
Look, this is, if you're going to score one, this is the perfect time to do it. Bang on half-time. In fact, we're about half a minute over. And there it is.
Well, there we go. Half-time. Dave Tancheski will go in a very happy man going into the break with a 1-0 lead. So half-time here, Lambton 1, Hamilton 0 at Arthur Eden Oval. On aggregate, it's 2-2, and Lambton will go through on the away goal currently if it stands like this at full time. But Chris, what were your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes?
I can see it very similar to yesterday's game, where it was a bit scrappy, a bit desperation, very physical. Both teams end to end, but I think a goal like that really hurts you when you're going in as a Hamilton player or coach. So they're going to come in right now and have a good hard look at how they're going to go about their second half. And for me, to be all out attack. We spoke about sitting in before. There won't be any of that from Hamilton's second half.
So there you have it, 1-0 Lambton with the lead at halftime here at Arthur Eden Oval. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time with the second half.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
Hello and welcome back. Second half action here at Arthur Eden Oval. It's Lambton with a 1-0 lead at halftime over Hamilton. Goal right on halftime to Luke Remington. Last play of the first half. Scoreline in the first leg, 2-1 to Hamilton. And 1-0, as I said before, as you can see, top left of screen with a 1-0 lead to Lambton. So Lambton are going through at the moment, Chris, and what have Hamilton got to do in the second half?
Like we said just before half time, there's absolutely no reason why Olympic don't take it to them. They've got to play down in Lambton's area of the park. Play in the middle part of the ground and in their top end, and be down there consistently. If they can achieve that, they're going to get more chances, and with more chances, likelihood of goals. They've still got to make sure that defensively they stay solid. So that means getting to the ball first as often as you can and maintaining good shape at the back.
Who are your thoughts on who gets the job done from here? Who do you think is most likely?
Look, there's a long way to go in this game. How quickly things can change around. To answer your question, I just don't know, because it's been so much turnover and so much aggression in the game, as we're seeing a little bit more of it now. It'll really depend. I think the next goal will tell a lot of where it's going to go.
Just a reminder that a 2-1 scoreline in favour of Lambton will mean that it's extra time this afternoon. We'll be going late. Game start kicked off at 3, so we're going past 5 o'clock, that means. And I don't think Hamilton want to see penalties after what happened a couple of years ago. The 2 penalty shootout losses in a couple of weeks. There'll be a good chance for them to get revenge if it does happen like that. Here's the free kick, whipped in. Headed away there by Swan. Sessions goes wide. Tom Davies running down to the corner. Remington and Davies down there. Goes over the sideline. Throw for Hamilton. Brown. Up over the top. Just getting abused by Graham Law now. Ball over the top. And Hamilton goes back Bridges with a long-range shot. Now Reece Cooper. Free kick going Hamilton's way now. Mason Campbell now. Going up over halfway. Williams. Over the sideline. Hamilton now with the throw. Andrew Swan for them. Goes down the line towards Coiner. Still Coiner on the ball. Coming across. He's got good child there. Also Ben Coiner. Tom Smart. Now to Remington. Ricochets on the back of Reece Cooper. Maybe in the back of the head and over the sideline. Tom Smart with the throw. Tom Smart down the line. Davies just getting his foot in there. Remington. Down and over the sideline. Tom Davies now with the throw. Coiner with a little flick on, and Sessions knocks it long. Trying to get through there. Mason Campbell. Majorowski was down there, causing some headaches for Hamilton at the back. Luke Remington. About to take the throw for Lambton in the number 18. 3 minutes gone, second half. Lambton with a 1-0 lead in the second leg. Jamie Burns goes down. Then Remington tries to come in. Reece Cooper down in that corner. Over the sideline, another throw for Lambton.
Good healthy crowd in today. Looking across the grandstand, it's all full. There's no spare seats in there, and good coverage on our side of the ground all the way down to the corner and then up behind the goals that you can see there.
Yeah, great crowd up on the hill for Lambton here at Lambton this afternoon. Long range shot. And that one is going to find its way, I think, maybe over the sideline. It does so. And Hamilton, I should say, with a throw.
Obviously, Pete McPherson's tactic to pen them in down the bottom corner. It was never a shot.
Trying to get the field position down inside Hamilton's half.
That'll be what it is if you ask him, that's for sure.
Jamie Burns now down into the corner. Still down there, Jamie Burns. Mason Campbell knocking it up the ground. McPherson goes to Bridges, holds it up nicely on that far side of the ground. Now Jacob Bailey stepping past McNaughton Bailey. Trying to go down the ground, and Hamilton with the free kick. Jacob Bailey with 7 goals this year. Couple last year, so he's had a good couple of years for Hamilton. Andrew Swan now on the ball. Down the line. Bailey getting into the thick of the action again. Riley McNaughton. Bailey. Bridges now Simon Mooney. Simon Mooney with some space ahead of him. Cutting across the ground. He's got good child. Michael Sessions just getting there in time.
It's a little break like that. If that ball from Mooney does get good child, then it's probably back in the favour of Hamilton. And it'll take something like that to get Hamilton back in this game.
Well, here's Hodges, gets bumped over by Jamie Burns. No whistle from the referee. Swan goes down the line. Good child with a little touch on to Coiner. Now Sessions, Coiner. Don't know what he was trying to do there. Trying to look like he may have been trying to trip Swancott, but it was a long way out.
Yeah, not a good chance of success there for him to be shooting from there. We just saw a goal come from a similar region, and maybe that could have been a better tactic on that occasion.
Liz Smart with the throw.
Oh,
Burns and Davies down in the corner, lashing out at him. Tom Davies kicking out at Jamie Burns there. Tell you what, there's been tension between those two all afternoon. What were your thoughts on it, Chris?
Yeah, look, he did give him a bit of a clip after it was done, but Jamie's also got to be very careful he doesn't do something silly in retaliation.
Is this a ploy from Hamilton to try and get him to react and maybe give away a red card and see you later, they're down to 10 men?
Look, you're always going to know he's going to get fired up because he's just a character that's got so much passion for the game. And they all know it. Is it a tactic? You just know that if you fire him up, he's going to do one or two things. He's either going to kill you or he's going to do something silly. And, I think Jamie's matured over the last couple of years, and what he would have done when he was 18, 19 is a bit different to what he would do now. But he's still got that fire in him, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
Well, here's Swancott with the goal kick. Up towards halfway. Remington gets there with a header. Reece Cooper and Pete McPherson. The battle over possession, and McPherson won that time. Grant Brown down towards the corner, gets bumped by Reece Cooper and gives away the free kick. And I think that's probably, as we're talking about, that's one thing we've been seeing Hamilton trying to get under the skin of Jamie Burns. So you see it in all sports. Have a player, a fiery character, and try and rile them up and cause some problems for their side if they get sent off.
And the coach's job here is to make sure that you're talking to him, throughout the week. You're talking to him on the game day. Make sure he's right.
Here's a lovely ball. Pat Brown gets a clip. Tom Smart, here's a card. Referee's going to give the card to Tom Smart when he does return. Gone to fetch the ball.
He'll feel a bit disappointed that he's picked up a card there because, it was as much as a trip as he's doing his boot up. He's tripped over and fallen. I mean, guys are going to go and be very competitive in that sort of spot. But I think as a defender, you might be a bit disappointed with that.
Here's Simon Mooney.
You can see how tight the marking is in the back stick there. Players are very, very close. Bailey's trying to weave some space for himself.
Well, here's Mooney whipping it in. We know how good Goodchild is with his head. Bailey, Bailey was trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do there. The ball was up in the air and he tried to volley it, and it was a bit strange.
Yeah, and Jacob's there saying I was pushed there. I don't know how I got that free kick against me.
Brad Swancott with the free kick. Yeah, I didn't think he was doing that intentionally there. Jacob Bailey, it was a strange thing. Brad Swancott, the Hamilton supporters just behind him now. Coming up with the header is McNaughton. Over towards the sideline, flick down the line. There's Jamie Burns on the ball. Taking on Kyle Hodges. Probably won that battle this afternoon. Ireland knocking it away, knocking it clear. Majorowski on the ball, plays it back. There's the volley off the post and in, and Jamie Burns strikes a massive blow into Hamilton. Well, they've been trying to rile him up, and Jamie Burns makes it 2-0.
I think they're similar looking. Yeah, it was. They're very similar. A bit hard from our distance here to pick who that was. And it was McNaughton that scored that.
Riley McNaughton with the goal. I'm sorry about that. I've had a shocker there, but we've honestly we cannot see that end of the ground. Riley McNaughton with the goal would have been a better story if Jamie Burns had scored, but
I don't think Lambton will care either way.
17-7 those two on the ground, but yeah, we've got a tough position to see down there. And I was trying to get it off the TV. They are tough to spot, but 2-0 Lambton with the lead. Michael Williams, Kyle Hodges. Now McPherson going down the line.
So without stating, obviously, the task becomes a whole lot tougher for Olympic right now.
Well, here is Mason Campbell. Well, Dave Chancheski was very, very happy. I'm not entirely sure. Was it definitely Riley McNaughton that scored the goal? Are we 100% sure? Because that was the ground announcer that said that. So
No, I saw him because I saw Jamie running across the pitch to celebrate.
So it was Riley McNaughton.
Mm-hmm.
And Mooney down the line. So Hamilton, well, they need a goal now. If they can get a goal, then they can get themselves level on aggregate, making it 3-all. All over the top now. Pat Brown trying to get down there. Reese Cooper. And Remington going at it. Referee still no free kick. Reese Cooper grabbing Remington there and wins the free kick. So Hamilton, as you said, Chris, they're going to have to try and grab one back. It's pretty much the same story as last week. It's a long-range shot off the post. Gee. Ireland was backtracking and
wow,
just going further and further back, and you thought, gee, surely it couldn't go in.
There's a slight tailwind here behind Lambton, so that one's probably just...
Here's Tom Smart.
Caught him out by surprise.
Well, here's McPherson. Yeah, well, it is pretty much the same story last week. It was a goal in the 35th minute for Hamilton for Jacob Bailey. Then in the 61st for Goodchild this week, it was the 45th Luke Remington. And then Riley McNaughton grabbing a goal 10 minutes in, so about 55 in. As here is Grant Brown. Still Brown. He just cutting it back to Majorowski. Ireland. Oh, lovely skill from Danny Ireland to get away from Majorowski.
He's done that so that if his clearance had hit Majorowski, it didn't rebound and go in the back of the net. So clever piece of goalkeeping there.
Here's Bridges. Back to Majorowski. And now Reese Cooper. He's got a lot of speed, Reese Cooper. He's got Pat Brown as well. And Pat Brown, can he get the ball? He's still got it, Pat Brown. Michael Williams getting back. Pat Brown with a shot. It goes wide.
Oh, and just wide as well. He's done particularly well to get off his players and shake them off.
He's very disappointed with himself there, Pat Brown. It's a great run down the middle of the ground. He evaded Williams. He evaded Smart. Tommy Smart on a yellow card already, so he didn't want to foul him. And, gee, big chance. Ben Coyne goes off the ground. Coming on for Hamilton, number 19, Jason Korotic.
Simon Mooney off.
Simon Mooney off as well, so another change, and it's Matt Swan going on. So a double change for Mick Bolch. Not the first time he's done that this season.
Simon's been battling a thigh injury, and it's been bothering him all week, where I believe he hasn't trained. So that one's probably just about pulled him up, I would say, and looking at him stretch on the sideline.
Well, so, yeah, Simon Mooney's in all sorts of trouble on the sideline at the moment. So if Hamilton do make it through, they're not out of this by any stretch. All they need is another goal, and it's back level again. So don't count Hamilton out of it just yet. Here's Swan. Across to Reese Cooper. Still Reese Cooper holding it up nicely. He's looking for Matt Swan, who's just come onto the ground. Majorowski.
They'll be looking for every opportunity they can, because as the minutes tick by, they'll just become more desperate, more desperate, more desperate.
Here's Tom Smart now. Down to this near corner. Tom Davies. Now back for McNaughton. Pat Brown again away down the right side. McPherson.
That's a clever ball from Pete.
Playing it across to Grant Brown now. Here is Bridges. Here's Brown cutting it back towards the middle. Here is Majorowski. Majorowski on the left foot. Blocked there by Tom Davies. Reece Cooper going down. McNaughton down there as well. To Lambton, they have three players that look almost that look from a long distance. Look very close to, as this one's played across. I'll go back to that in a sec. In Swan with the header onto Matt Swan, who flicks it away. McPherson. Now Bridges. Going across the face, and corner kick going Lambton's way. Yeah, Grant Brown, Riley McNaughton, and Jamie Burns. Three of Lambton's players. Gee whiz, they need to wear something different, you know? Different, maybe one of them wears a headband one week, beanie.
Yeah, I'm not sure how creative the boys would want to get with that sort of stuff.
And Lambton, Bridges' long-range shot, deflecting over for a corner. Playing into the middle now. Headed away, Tom Smart getting in there. Knocked away by Hodges. Here's Sessions. Ball over the top, and Danny Ireland comes out.
Speaking about goalkeepers, you know, Brad Swancott's really feeling the moment here. He knows they've got their nose in front. He's barking instructions. He's talking to the strikers. He's telling Majorovski where he wants him from back there and calling his midfield through.
Well, here is Remington. In that left side of the ground. Still Luke Remington going down. No foul given from the referee there. Rising up, Reece Cooper. Now Brown into the head of Cooper, I think there, that volley.
I think that's a quality Falcon.
Gee whiz. That wouldn't have tickled at all on Reece Cooper. Majorowski going across the ground. Bridges. Goes across to Grant Brown now. Korotic on the ball. Scored a couple of goals this year and played for Northlake Salvos in 2014 in the Christian Churches competition. Grant Brown now with a throw for Lambton.
These are the areas that Pete McPherson's so good in, those tight little spots like that. Just get himself out of trouble and get his team into a good position.
Throw now for Hamilton. Just we got some queries online, some comments. Edgeworth did win the other game. Well, they didn't win yesterday, but they got through. 3-3 draw in the first leg and then 0-0 yesterday. So because they scored the 3-3 draw was at Magic Park. That means Edgeworth go through on that away goal rule. And in the under-19s, it was Hamilton who went down to Broadmeadow 2-0, which means that Broadmeadow leapfrogged them in terms of the aggregate scoreline, which was 2-1 to Hamilton last week. Magic got a 3-2 win there. So Magic go through to the final against Edgeworth in the 19s. In the 22s, the Jets beat Hamilton last week 6-1. And this week it was a 1-0 win to the Jets youth, which makes it 7-1. So the Jets meet Edgeworth in the 22s final. So those two finals, just to repeat, 19s is Magic and Edgeworth, and 22s is the Jets taking on Edgeworth, and they'll be next Sunday at Magic Park.
Sitting in amongst the Magic supporters yesterday in the first grade game, and with about 2 minutes to go, there was a handball in the box from Edgeworth, and there was outrage at the handball, which for everyone in the ground, myself included, believed that it was a penalty. So they were feeling very, very disappointed, and it was probably a fair time to make a move towards the car at that point. Very, very unlucky. Peter Haynes, worth a mention too, with a free kick outside the box, which was stunning. And then a minute after that, in injury time, he's had a strike just on the edge of the box that everyone thought was going in. And so very, very exciting finish to the game. So I'm hoping we're going to see more of the same here today.
Yeah, well, the first leg, it was one of the best games of football I think I've ever watched last Saturday at Magic Park. That was absolutely wonderful, that game. Here's Bridges. We've got a free kick going Hamilton's way now. But Hamilton really, when they had the pressure off them and they had the lead early on in the game, a 0-0 scoreline, of course, and they were going through to the grand final at that point. They really looked like they were the better side, but now all of a sudden Lambton, with the pressure off them, now just causing Hamilton a few headaches, and Hamilton really haven't created many chances since early on in that first half.
Yeah, we saw the pace of the game early, just so quick. Mentioned there was a lot of turnovers, but it just seems to have slowed a little bit, where Lambton have got their foot on the ball a little bit more. And Hamilton, surprisingly, aren't as physical as what they were earlier. I thought they'd carry it the whole way through the game, but they've very, very much taken their foot off the pace, which may be a good thing because, let's see some quality football, for this next 25 minutes.
So free kick against Kane Goodchild there for a handball. And Brad Swancott's going to take this one for the Jaffas. Had one shot cannon off the post in the first half, Brad Swancott, but that was about it in his department. And he's had to worry about in this match. He had a lot to do in the first half, but not a lot of hard work to do in terms of saves, and he had to grab a lot of balls that were rolling into the 18, but really not too lethal from Hamilton.
It was really only that shot that hit the crossbar that had him beat. Other than that, he didn't seem overly troubled. Some great skill there from Bridges.
Well, here's Remington and Davies going down towards that corner. Davies diving in, and now Luke Remington getting around him. Not one of his best efforts there, Luke Remington. Over the top. Goal kick for Danny Ireland, but that goal in the first half just changed the momentum in this game.
Yeah, it's a tough time for Olympic when you get a goal against you right on half time. It just sends two teams into the sheds with different mindsets. One of them's right, now we're on a roll, and the other one's just taken a blow.
Well, there's Reece Cooper. Yep, he is offside. He was offside there, directly in line with us. Hamilton's number 10. Sideline official on this near side. Brad Swancott has had a distinguished career. 25 NSL matches for the Newcastle Breakers, and played for Western in 2004, Lake Macquarie 2011, and Hamilton in 2013 and 2014. Tom Smart down this near side now for Lambton. Plays it back to Remington. Still Remington on the ball. Over the top, looking for Majorowski. Danny Ireland comes out, claims it. Swan. Back to Bailey. Kyle Hodges. Goes to Goodchild. Controlling it nicely now, Hamilton. Korotic. Now to Goodchild. Nice skill from Kane Goodchild.
Just ran after him, he got away from him a little bit there. But it just shows you how dangerous he is when he's got the ball at his feet and he's running. I'd like to see a lot more of that from him in the next 20 minutes.
Here's Mason Campbell. Thomas Martin over the sideline. Tom Davies coming down to take the throw for Hamilton. He goes back to Campbell. Goodchild in the middle. This one's going to go straight to Brad Swancott. Going to try and release Luke Remington. Hamilton getting back. Look like they may have stopped the danger. They have so. Korotic.
Yeah, that's where Majorowski is normally at his best, when he's back to goal and holding the ball up like he does.
Here's McNaughton. Cross. Bridges. Don't know what happened there for Michael Bridges. Korotic knocking it forward. Reece Cooper trying to get in there. Pat Brown. Tom Davies now. Down the line. Williams. Now McPherson. 3 Hamilton players coming across to pressure Pete McPherson. Now Tom Davies. Goes to Goodchild. Lambton all around him. Kane Goodchild with 13 goals this season. He scored 13 last year. Now down the far side, Jamie Burns putting it into the middle. Mason Campbell doing well. Jamie Burns still down in back play.
You can see the gaps
Looks like
between the lines are now getting bigger, which means they've worked hard early. It's not as compact as what it was. And this is where we can see the game start to open up now.
Here's Mason Campbell. See if it does open up a little bit for both sides. Hamilton needing a goal. Tom Davies, good interception, but Majorowski gets it back. Jacob Bailey getting across to pressure Majorowski, Lambton's captain. Lovely skill from Matt Swan. Back heel. Referee playing advantage now with Jacob Bailey. Goes to Swan. Andrew Swan now. Still Andrew Swan. Hamilton fans on the far side enjoying a little bit of skill from him. Through Korotic, and now Majorowski goes down. A little bit of a dive there from Majorowski, winning the free kick for Lambton.
I'm going to put that one down to experience. What he's doing there is he's had every opportunity to go over and get a free kick, no doubt. But he's just letting his team catch up to the play here. There's really nothing doing for him forward. Big gap between him and the midfield, so he's just used all of the experience and let him get on with a free kick.
Here's Jamie Burns. Oh, there's Swan into the back of Bridges. Playing it wide. Pat Brown, he had a great chance before. Just put it wide. Here's McNaughton. Scored Lambton's second goal. Still McNaughton, and Pat Brown gets the foot in over the sideline.
We've got Alex Palozzi warming up now, which would be a good time to bring him into the game because he can provide some real skill, bit of razzle dazzle, and he can create something out of nothing. So, he's the guy that can score goals for them. And if I was Tancheski, I'd be thinking a good time to put him on as well.
Are you thinking Bridges will make way for Alex Palozzi?
It's highly likely, but Tanch said this morning, he played 80 minutes and he was capable of going the whole way. So it's likely, unless there's someone carrying a bit of a niggle that we don't know about. That's the likely choice.
Well, here's Reece Cooper, goes
That's
long. Can Pat Brown get across? It was a beautiful ball, and Swancott knocks it over the sideline.
So we're talking about earlier with Swancott. He's very comfortable to come off his line and make sure that there is no danger. If he stays inside his box, chances are that's a goal.
Well, that's the revolution these days with the goalkeepers. Playing much like a sweeper at the back and come out.
Like I said before, he's been doing this from a young boy. He's been working on his outfield game, and that's why he used to play so much indoor soccer, so he could have that ability to play with his feet. And that often separates, good goalkeepers to great goalkeepers.
Tom Davies goes back to Mason Campbell. McNaughton.
Yeah, so Jamie Burns, he's in trouble here. He's just indicated that he's done, or in his own words, so he's obviously got an injury of some sort.
Looks like it may be a calf. I think it's a cramp. Well, he did look like a cramp, but maybe it's a calf injury for Jamie Burns. Danny Ireland now. At the back for Hamilton. They've got to find something. They've only got 18 minutes. That's what their season has left if they can't find a goal. Brothers on the far side. Matt and Andrew Swan. Now Korotic. Back to Swan on the far side of the ground. Playing towards the middle. Hamilton flying through. Oh, header from Cooper.
Very close over the top right.
Came off his head nicely, just didn't get enough.
Swanee was definitely in the right zone of the goals, and he had that covered by the look. However, very, very good header, just slightly off target on that occasion. So Jamie has come off.
So Alex Palozzi going on for Jamie Burns. We thought it might be Bridges, but Bridges staying out there. Jamie Burns with that injury, we think.
I'm not sure if he has taken an injury or not, or whether he's just cramped up. He just cramped up.
Here's down to the corner, so he has just cramped up. That's what he's just told us on the sideline here. But here's Swan playing it wide. Swan could get in there over the goal line, and it's going to be a goal kick.
It's interesting. He says he's good for next week, which is great for him. In his mind, this game is theirs, and if that's the mentality of him and the other players in the team, it's great to go have that sort of confidence. But you know what? Is one goal away from game back on.
And so you're exactly right.
So there's still a fair bit to go in this game, about 17 minutes.
Well, he's done well to keep his cool out there today, because there was a lot going on between some of the Hamilton players and him. Even in the first match, these two sides played as well. So
he did do well, and the fact that a guy of his level of fitness has had to come off through cramp, It's an indication of how much work he's actually done today. And that's exactly what Tanchevsky would be after, is that workload we spoke about early.
Here's Tom Smart going down the line. Tom Smart asking for the ball. So a couple of changes left for Lambton. Just the one left for Hamilton, that double change. Coiner and Simon Mooney going off. Here's Pat Brown long range. Don't think he's going to trouble Brad Swancott unless he hits an absolute stunner of a shot from there, like Aiden Bryce did back in Edgeworth's last match here in round 15. Thomas Smart with the throw. 15 minutes to go in the semi-finals. Semi-final number 2, the second leg. Second versus third on the ladder this season. Lambton and Hamilton. Whipped in towards the back post, and Danny Island does well. Both these two conceded 22 goals in the regular season. Lambton scored 42, Hamilton 46. So Hamilton just shading them in terms of attack, but equal in defence. Mason Campbell. Back to Davies. Reminder, the score 3-2 on aggregate. Northern New South Wales NPL semi-final number 2. Lambton taking on Hamilton here today, the home of the Jaffas at Arthur Eden Oval. Here's Smart. Playing it to Palozzi. Pat Brown getting in there. Now Davies. He plays it to Swan. Back to Korotic. Little back heel. Daly.
So you can see 2-0 scoreline for today. What's going to happen here is we need to get a goal from Hamilton to spark this one, into something serious. If Lambton get themselves in a position to score like they have done with Palozzi coming on and making sure that they're putting themselves in an attacking frame of mind, another goal will kill this one off for Olympic.
And it's funny how quickly things can change, because early on in the first half we're thinking if Hamilton grab a goal, then all of a sudden Lambton's chances of getting through take a massive dive. So,
well, that's right. I mean, 2-0 at this stage of the game. Lambton would be very, very happy with that.
Here is Goodchild.
Just got
plays
Swan
it wide
away.
to Swan. Plays it across. Pat Brown with a header. Swancott says he's offside, but the referee gives the goal. And Pat Brown has done it again for Hamilton. And it is all level at Arthur Eden Oval. And what a cracking tie this has been between Lambton and Hamilton, Chris.
The ball from Swan cut back. Pat Brown timed his run beautifully. Left Swancott no chance. He's claiming offside, but I didn't see it from here. Sorry, Swanee.
Well, here we go. Palozzi and Matt Jarofsky. So here we go. Any goals from here? Any goals? We have a change for Lambton. Luke Willard going onto the ground for them.
Michael Bridges has just come off.
And
he's had a terrific game as well.
McNaughton. Gee, Pat Brown, hasn't he had a great end to this season? That hat-trick against West and the confidence he got. He had an absolute shocker against Edgeworth at Jack McLaughlin Oval. He admitted that when I interviewed him in the Man of the Match interview against, after that game, I should say, against Western, where he scored that hat-trick. He said, no, I didn't play that very well that day. He got taken off at halftime, but gee, since then he's been outstanding for Hamilton when he's got his chance, and he almost scored earlier. He was disappointed about it, but he managed to sink the shot. The head up past Swancott, made no mistake, and as I said, any goal from here, and there's no more extra time. So extra time at the moment with Lambton with a 2-1 lead. It is the same story. It's almost identical. 75th minute. That's when Pete McPherson scored last week, and that's when Pat Brown pretty much scored this week.
And Pat Brown's been threatening. He's a threatening player. When he's running at you, he's just got the ability to weave, and he gets in good positions. And the goals that he scored at Hamilton that day that you're talking about when he got his hat-trick, he's finished them off very, very well. He's a genuine striker that can finish. That positioning of where he was on that cross from Swan, terrific cross. And Swan knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly where he was going to put it. And Pat Brown literally just hit me in the head and watch it go in.
So it promises to be a dramatic 10 minutes here at Arthur Eden Oval, plus stoppages. 10 and a bit minutes. Williams with the header away. Great to have your company here on Bar TV. Semi-final number 2, second leg. The final storyline of the semi-final series in the NPL this year. Swan down the far side of the ground. Cutting inside. Still Swan. He has a shot. Swancott with a save. I thought it was going wide, but the Hamilton fans behind the goal made it seem like it was going in. Swancott went to ground early. All of a sudden, a few nerves creeping in here at Lambton.
And this is exactly what we're after. We're after a finish like this. We did the hard work early. It was very physical. It was tight, lots of turnovers. Now the game's opened up and we saw the lines getting a bit bigger. And what I'm talking about, the lines getting bigger, I'm talking about defence to the midfield to the strikers. Everything's getting a little bit bigger, so we've got more space to play in, which in turn is going to give us some extra room to play and create those chances. All of a sudden, Olympic have got themselves right back in this game.
Well, here's Reece Cooper. He whips it in across the face. Going up was Jacob Bailey with the header, and it's gone over the goal line. A goal kick for Brad Swancott. So just a reminder for everyone out there watching, a draw from here on in, whatever the scoreline is, a draw means that Hamilton go through. For Lambton to go through, they have to win this game. Simple as that. Here's Swancott up over halfway. McNaughton flicking it on. Mason Campbell will let that run down to Danny Ireland. So a nervous 9.5 minutes to go for both sides. Game on a knife's edge. Just a testament to how tight the NPL is this year. We had 2 draws in the first semi-final, 3-all and 0-all, with Edgeworth going through. Same story in the second semi-final as well. 2-1 to Hamilton in the first leg. And 2-1 now to Lambton in this second leg. And we expected this, Chris, didn't we? The semi-finals. You could not split the top 5 sides. I don't think you could. Well, Adamstown probably just a little bit less than the top 5, but the top 5 you couldn't split, and Western were up there as well. That's
right. The competition is so close now. You know, you go back 10, 15, 20 years.
Here's Campbell with the free kick. Bailey across the face, and Lambton do well.
So if you go back in years, you just know who the top 4 is likely to be. But you go in this competition, you know, in 2015, it could be anyone.
Well, that's what we were saying. You just couldn't pick who was going to win the competition. Even Edgeworth, they'd been such a fantastic performers all season, but even they had lost the odd game. And Magic as well, and Hamilton beat them, so it was incredible. Here's Swan down the left-hand side. He's got Pat Brown making another run, but Swancott should get across. He does well. 8 minutes left in the game. So stick around. If the scoreline remains the same, we'll be going for another 30 minutes. I'll have to check if I get paid for an extra 30 minutes, get overtime. Here's Pete McPherson. Here's Grant Brown. That doesn't matter. It's been such a great game. Don't need to be paid to watch this.
I'll put in for the extra pie and can of Coke.
Swan with the throw on the far side of the ground. I'm sure Lambton will supply you with that. Need the energy to keep going for the rest of the game. And the referee looks like he's going to have a chat to someone. Is he going to have a chat to... Is that Matt Swan over there?
This is where, you know, as a coach, you want your players that have got some experience to really put their hand up and create and stay calm, but be creative and encourage the other players along and make sure that no one is going to lapse any time in concentration. Everyone stays focused on their task the whole way to the end, because just one mistake and you get punished.
Just that one, as you said, Chris, that one little moment. As I said, one moment of brilliance, one little error. You don't shut someone down. You let someone through.
Or you don't go with a runner, or you don't listen to someone that's instruction that's given to you. It can be a number of things that just could let you down when it's this tight.
You just got to think about the things you have done well and give yourself confidence. Puts it across the face. Swancott gets out and does well. Hamilton fans just creating a little bit more drama down there for Brad Swancott. Remington has been great today. Score that goal to get Lambton back into the tie. Right on half-time, the 45th minute. That was so important. Palozzi plays it now to McNaughton. Can McNaughton play it across the face? He does so, and Ireland gets down and makes a good save.
Gee, that was a chance. It was a real big one there for Lambton. Great ball in from Remington to Palozzi, and his ball through was just tremendous as well. So end-to-end football starting to open up.
Yeah, it's just like that game yesterday you were speaking about, Chris. Edgeworth and Magic the last 30 minutes, just end to end to end.
And this one's panning out in just similar fashion.
Here's Swan and Grant Brown coming together. 5.5 to go. Bailey. And now Alex Palozzi. Down the ground. Tom Davies now. On the ball. Massive crowd at Arthur Eden Oval this afternoon for this one. So it should be.
That's why the people love finals football, because it's just everything's on the line. You can't be lapsed for a moment. There's no next week if you don't get a result today. And that's what makes it so exciting. I mean, people just love to watch this sort of football.
At the moment, we don't know who's going through. Penalty shootouts, as we said, 2013. There was 2. These two sides met twice in the finals that year. 1-1 in both games. Lambton won on penalty shootouts. In a penalty shootout, I should say, in both of those games. Reece Cooper with a shot. Swancott. He'd already gone to ground, and gee, did well to swat that into the ground and make sure it didn't bobble up. Now
he
it
got
goes
him in
long.
position nice and early. He did Swanee, and so that shot was quality strike, but Swancott made it look so easy.
Well, here's Swan. Didn't this game set up so perfectly to go into extra time? Lambton got the first one. Lambton got the second one. And then just when you thought Lambton were going through, Pat Brown nodded one in. Set it up just perfectly, didn't it?
It sure has. And this game's not over by a long stretch.
Ball across the face. Good shot with a header. Sits up. Oh, Reece Cooper with a shot. Swancott with a save, and I'm thinking there was an offside before Reece Cooper's shot, but if not, Brad Swancott, what an awesome save.
Yeah, well, I think we were looking at an offside prior, but Swancott just stands up every year. He's in these big games, loves them.
All over the top. Pat Brown after it. Tom Smart down to the corner. Pat Brown still on the ball. He goes down, and it is a
goal kick.
Corner kick for Hamilton.
He has given that.
Lambton, Dave Chancheski not impressed with that call at all. Pat Brown, it's a big call.
Joel Grinnell was out of his seat as well, so clear they're not happy.
And this corner goes back post. Bailey with the header and not one of his best. Over. And a goal kick for Brad Swancott. 3 minutes left. 2-1.
Jacob Bailey there, he obviously just didn't have enough space to get something on that. In normal circumstances, he would have looked to send that back towards the penalty spot rather than shoot from there. Swancott, strong strike. We've got about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes in regular time, and Olympic just keep pouring the pressure on here, Ben. And as we said before, they're playing. They've got to play down in the top end of the park, in their top end, and they've been doing that. Well, forcing some pressure.
Hamilton with a free kick now, so a good chance for them now. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go in this match. Extra time awaits if we don't get another goal.
Whilst they're concentrating on the attack, they're still busy sorting out their defence in case something spills out quickly from Majerovski. So, very good attacking position right now for Olympic.
It's been pretty even with chances late on in the game. Played across the face. Oh, Brad Swancott. What a save.
I tell you, if they do go through today, they're going to have to acknowledge his effort. It's been absolutely spot on.
Wow. He was the man of the match last time they met here on Bar TV. The 0-0 draw. Still not over yet. Pat Brown knocks it way back. Jacob Bailey across the face. Grant Brown heads it away. Luke Willard now. Just was stuck under his foot for a moment then, and that ball is going to trickle over the byline. Gee whiz, Brad. Oh, Brad Swancott.
That's a goal on any other day.
You said Jim Fogarty made an awesome save yesterday. Was that better?
Two different scenarios, two different situations. That one, how he got a fingertip on that is beyond me. He just keeps doing it, does Brad.
Well, I'm nervous just standing here, 2-1. Such a tight contest between those two sides. As I said, it was level both times they played in the regular season. And it's going to be level overall across two legs. Here's Palozzi. Plays it up now to Majorowski. Majorowski holding it up. Hamilton players coming from everywhere. McNaughton over the top towards Majorowski. Down towards the corner now for Lambton. Still Majorowski goes down. Plays it in towards the middle. It's headed away by Mason Campbell. Great job from Hamilton's number 13. Grant Brown now getting down to the corner. Hodges over towards the sideline. But Swan gets there for Hamilton and he goes off down the left side. We've got 10 seconds of regulation time to go. I'd say 2 or 3 minutes of stoppages. Now McNaughton and Swan come together. And the referee gives a free kick. Lambton's bench goes up.
Just looking at the runs from Pat Brown and from Goodchild, they're just weaving and timing their runs beautifully, waiting for the delivery that didn't come. But, these guys haven't given up. They've just making sure that in every instance they're going to be in the right place at the right time.
Well, is there a late twist in this tale? Here's Andrew Swan straight. Oh, Swancott again, a great save. Got his foot there. Here's a handball against Matt Swan, surely. No, says the referee. It's just booted clear by Lambton. But Brad Swancott again with probably the save of the day today with the foot. You said when he was younger he worked on his feet skills in playing futsal, and gee whiz.
And that's what you would expect from an outfield player to get something on their boot like that. I mean, his whole body is in play when he's in goals.
What he lacks in height, he makes up for in skill.
Oh,
totally.
Today he's huge. He's huge today. There's no lack of height there.
Oh, Brad. Now it's up for Majorowski. Wide it goes down the island, will get down. So I'm thinking we've probably got a minute and a half to go.
This just shows you how important keepers are. You look at Ireland, you look at Swancott, and they're in finals for reasons, as I put the hex on him as he kicks it out. But they pull out the big saves when it matters, and that's what separates them.
Referee, looks like we're going to have a change, are we? No, don't think so. Just finding another ball, I'm pretty sure.
Couldn't quite see it, but I think someone's kicked a ball in the park to slow the game down.
Pete McPherson. Now across to Willard. Lambton with the one change left, and Hamilton with the one, I'm pretty sure. So both are using... I don't think they've changed the extra time rule, but I'm pretty sure FIFA were talking about introducing a extra substitute in extra time, which I 100% agree with. But I'm pretty sure it's just the 3. Are you pretty sure of that?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that nothing's changed in that department.
Andrew
Swan.
Swan.
In some respects, I agree with what you're saying there. But in the other one, this is where your fitness comes in, and the work that you've done, how you've managed your time on the park during the day. This game, it slowed there for a little while, but the pace has picked right back up again, and now you can almost feel the desperation from the players.
Well, here's Majorowski across. McNaughton, he finds Palozzi. He's offside, where you'd have to think that could be the last play of the game. We've got 15 seconds to go before it'll be 3 minutes of added time. Every time the referee blows his whistle, you're unsure of what is going to happen.
We haven't had a lot of stoppage in this second half, so can't expect it to be much more than 3.
And there it is. We will go into extra time here at Arthur Eden Oval. And we are in for an absolute treat. The annals of Lambton versus Hamilton will continue in terms of extra time and penalties if they are required. Any more goals from here on in will mean that it won't be a penalty shootout. It'll be a victory to either side. So if Hamilton score and level it up, then they will be going through. So if it's 2 all, 3 all, 4 all, it will be Hamilton that will go through. If Lambton go through, it will mean that they will have to get a victory this afternoon. Now, Chris, what were your thoughts on the 90 minutes we saw this afternoon, and what a game it was?
Yeah, we said it a couple of times. This game was very similar to the game yesterday in a lot of respects. The physicality of it early, the amount of turnover, it was just typical of finals football and why people love the desperation that goes on. Wasn't surprised. I wasn't going to be surprised if it stayed that way the whole game. And in fact, you're asking what it looks like when it slowed down and there's a bit more space created. That created a bit more excitement for the crowd because they get something to seeing chances at either end. Both teams look absolutely out on their feet, but they know they've got more football in there, and there's players in there maybe starting to feel like they're going to cramp up a little bit. Guys needing some attention. You can see, on the ground that some guys are getting rub downs, etc. So now they've got to rely on their fitness that we were talking about before, and rely on each other to collectively get the job done.
Well, it is great to have your company this afternoon. Second half, semi-final number 2. It's the second leg. It's 2-1 to Lambton, and it was 2-1 in the first leg to Hamilton. So extra time is the order of this afternoon's match, and we'll just take a quick break. We'll be back in probably a couple of minutes or so when they are back out, and we'll come back when the players are back out on the pitch. Yep, yeah, all good. Thanks for that. So back underway, second half. I should say first half of extra time out here. What's? So first half. Sorry about that. I just sorting out the graphics. So first half of extra time, and Lambton up against Hamilton, all locked up at 2-1. If we are level at the end of 30 minutes, 2 halves of extra time, then we will go into a penalty shootout. All right, so Grant Brown down the line, and as we said, Chris, both coaches using their substitutions strategically, that they both have one left.
Yeah, they do, and they're going to rely on them. You'd expect both of these coaches will inject these guys in the game. It'll just be a matter of when. And I think you get to this point, and you're going to manage your players as best you can. Who's not doing so well, and who is doing well in terms of the physicality of their game. So they'll be keeping an eye. In the break, they'd be talking to their players, making sure that everyone's okay. Who's got bumps, niggles, who's just simply out of battery. And they'll be monitoring that as this goes through.
And we've got the lights on as well here at Arthur Eden, so it's all happening.
One of the reasons you don't want to substitute too early in this situation is because if you get an injury and someone's got to come off, and let's face it, now they're fatigued, it's a likely scenario. You don't want to be playing with 10 men.
Well, that's exactly right. You get an injury with 20 minutes, half an hour to go. That's a big problem. Here's Korotic with a shot. Well, he was looking for the Hamilton Olympic fans behind the goal on the far side there. The result, just the goal kick. Do you think we're going to find a goal in extra time?
The likely scenario is that as the players get tired, more chances are going to create. So for me, I'm thinking there's a goal in this one in the next half an hour.
There's a ball down the line. Now Remington. Still Luke Remington. Down to that corner. Tom Davies. Remington gets away from his man very easily. Plays it across the face. It bounced up off the grass, and Majorowski had an air swing. And then Swan and Majorowski going at it on that far side.
He's not done yet.
Still Majorowski on the ball. Still going across the ground. Plays it back. Palozzi on the shot. Ireland fumbles it. There's a bit of a divot down there, I think, and a little bit of a lumpy bumpy out there.
You're not going to see an airy from Madge too often. You know that one's hit a bump.
Well, here's the goal kick from Danny Ireland.
That's where Palozzi's so dangerous when balls come in that area. Madge found him.
Tom Smart with the shoulder.
And it's likely Palozzi got a bobble there as well, because he normally would put something fairly solid on that sort of range from there.
Now sitting up for Willard. Playing it down the line. Smart cutting it back across the face, and Swan now knocking it away. Pat Brown. And McNaughton. Oh, McNaughton's injured here. Riley McNaughton. Which isn't good for Lambton. He's holding a wrist, and maybe it's
a thigh strain.
Thigh quad.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. You need to be managing your players in a way that if he'd made a substitution already and he has to come off, then obviously it's not a scenario you want playing with 10 with more than 25 minutes left.
There's the ball going over the sideline.
Unfortunately, he looks okay. I'd say he's just so either tight in the thigh, or he may have a slight strain. Not quite sure. He doesn't seem to be moving overly freely right now.
Well, there's Mason Campbell going across, looking for Matt Swan. Matt Swan running it down. Goes back to his brother Andrew.
You can see the pace of the game has really changed, slowed back down again now, as opposed to the final 5-7 minutes of regular time.
Well, here's Swan going across the ground, playing it to Pat Brown. Scored that goal for Hamilton today, and it's going to be a corner kick now. Hamilton again will apply the pressure onto Lambton. They've been down this end probably since Pat Brown scored. Hamilton had the better of the game, I'd say. Riley McNaughton had a run down the left and played it across the face, and it was a decent chance, but apart from that, it was mainly Hamilton. This one swing in. Swancott with the punch, and all the Hamilton fans that went up for a handball. Goodchild tees it up. Swancott goes down. Him and Pat Brown cleaned each other up. Down the line now. Remington and Tom Davies down there. Remington's won plenty of battles today. Still with Remington. Davies this time. Does it well, Tom Davies. Well, Luke Remington, he's won plenty of battles down the sidelines today, but Tom Davies, he won that one pretty convincingly.
Yeah, he's been good all day for them, hasn't he?
He's been probably one of their best out there. Swancott, well, it's going to be tough today because you're going to have to select the man of the match, and I think on Lambton's side of things, ball played across to Majerowski, and Mason Campbell plays it wide. For Lambton, Swancott and Remington are probably up there. For Hamilton, I'd probably say Pat Brown's probably been the pick of who's been out there. I don't know what you thought. What were your thoughts?
You know, sometimes we can look at players that haven't done anything that's been overly flashy. For example, Jacob Bailey, he's just been in that engine room all day. He's been in tackles all day. He's been holding things really well in terms of their shape. He's distributed the ball well when he's needed to. But for me, I like the look of what he's done today because with players like that just grinding away, he's been an important asset for them.
I think probably a bit like Pete McPherson as well for Lambton. You don't actually notice a lot of what he does.
No, but you know what? He keeps possession, he keeps moving the ball around, and he keeps the team ticking over.
Well, here's his space. There's a tackle from Mason Campbell. Puts a little bit of a shoulder into him. Referee doesn't bring out the yellow card. Reece Cooper goes down and has a chat to him. But Remington, this is the time that he loves. There's plenty of space out there. He's got plenty of speed, and he's cutting up Hamilton down the middle, straight down the middle there.
And he's the sort of player, I mean, he's obviously built for a longer version of the game because he can just keep going all day. So he hasn't slowed up from the beginning to what he is now. It looks the same.
Here is Alex Palozzi standing over it. He's hit some great free kicks this year.
So,
and that one's
you know what? With Alex there, he's probably in two minds. Do I take a strike on goal or I put one over the top? He's done the sensible thing. He's put one over the top and put his team in play. In hindsight, he might go to sleep tonight and think I should have had a crack at that one because he's well capable of hitting them from that sort of range.
Well, we saw him score a fantastic free kick against Edgeworth, level that one up.
Yeah, and over recent years too, he's scored some really good, powerful strikes, and he's capable of hitting them from there. He's still fresh because he hasn't been on for a huge amount of time. I think it might have been about 20 to go.
Well, he's been a revelation for them this year. 8 goals. Played for Edgeworth in 2013, did Alex Palozzi. Really, this season he's come to the fore big time for Lambton. First game really announced himself with a lot of work and some goals against the Jets youth. Here's Swan whipping it in, headed across the face, and Swan just past the back post.
That was so close. Had that have been inside the post, Swancott was not onto that one. He'll say he's had it covered, but if it was on the inside of the post, Swanee, that one was going in.
Here's Swancott. Up over halfway, Jacob Bailey.
And again, just there all day, nice and strong.
Here's Kane Goodchild heading it, and he runs down and over the sideline. Great to have your company. First half of extra time, 9 minutes. 9 minutes gone. Lambton bench going up. They're not impressed with that decision from the referee. Over the top now in Swancott. But 9 minutes, first half of extra time. It was 1-0 at halftime to Lambton. Luke Remington scored in the 45th. Lambton scored again. It was Riley McNaughton, and then Pat Brown locked us all up on aggregate at 3 apiece. In about the 75th minute, about the same time Pete McPherson scored last week for Lambton. So we tick down towards the end of the first half of extra time. Just 5.5 minutes to go until then. Here's Smart. Now to Palozzi. Alex Palozzi down the left-hand side. He's got Korotic pressuring him. Played across the face. Danny Ireland comes across.
He's done well to get
beautifully and makes a
he's
great
done particularly
save.
well to get a cross in there. As Alex.
Swan diving in, and it's only going to be a throw for. It's only going to be a throw there for Hamilton. Swan trying to flick it on. Only went as far as Grant Brown. Now for McNaughton. Palozzi. Wide for Willard. Chips it down the line for Alex Palozzi. Can he get it before it goes over the byline? He cut it back. Korotic.
He has.
Well, Korotic did well, and now with Swan. Knocking it towards Matt Swan. Jacob Bailey knocking one over the top. I thought when Simon Mooney came off that Hamilton would have lost a little bit in attack, but I tell you what, Pat Brown, he's been just as good up front there, down the sides.
He has done well for them.
Lots of problems for Lambton at the back.
He sure has. Lambton seem to just be back in this game again now.
It was Tom Smart, Majorowski chipping it wide. Now back for Smart, still Tom Smart playing it wide. Across the face, Majorowski controls on the volley, and he skied that one over the bar. And if Lambton do score another one, it's going to make it nearly impossible for Hamilton to get back into this one.
Yeah, Hamilton will know how important this is, this extra time, without stating the obvious. There's no way that they're going to do anything they can in their power to let Lambton get through the cracks of anything that might be sitting there in terms of the defence. We saw them quite on top and doing very well, Olympic, and now it's Lambton that are controlling possession in terms of field position.
Now wide, going for Swan. So I think I've made a mistake in terms of this away goal rule. If Hamilton do finish a goal behind from now on, they will go through on that away goal rule because it will be level. So Lambton have to win by 2 now. That's correct, Chris. I'm pretty sure Lambton have to win by 2, because if Hamilton go down, for example, 3-2. Then it's going to be 4-all, and Hamilton would have scored the more away goals. So they need to get the job done by 2 goals, Lambton, if Hamilton do manage to score again.
Shadows have become very long over this park. Lights are on.
2 minutes left before we go into half-time in extra time. Just checking those games. Those two dramatic games in the finals in 2013, the penalty shootouts, were both here at Arthur Eden. So there's something about this oval and cracking contest between Lambton and Hamilton. Good child. Lets it run over the sideline. Goes down the line and McPherson. Back to Pat Brown. Goes down towards the sideline. And Michael Sessions does well and wins the throw as it goes off Good Child.
You can see some very tired bodies out here right now.
They've been going at each other for almost 105 minutes now. An hour and 45 minutes. It's a long time to be out there.
Sure is, and if you've been in this position yourself, you know that you've got to draw on everything that you can. You're just concentrating on making sure that you get yourself in the right places at the right times when it matters, and you're getting a break when you can as well. So you've got to manage your time out there as a player. Otherwise, you're cramping and you're pulling up short, all those types of things. So these players here, they'll sleep well tonight.
Here's Palozzi going wide to Tom Smart. Keep it inside the line. He doesn't. Runs over the sideline. The back for Mason Campbell now. Up the line now. Michael Sessions trying to go up. Good child. Now Michael Williams over the sideline. And that is half-time in extra time. So going off a little bit earlier than the 15 minutes there. And Lambton still leading Hamilton by 2-1. But on aggregate, it's still 3-all. We'll take a quick break. Actually, I'll just ask Chris on your thoughts on that half of extra time. Really not too many chances.
No, not overly, but I think what we've got to see now is that, it's players that are still light on their feet and still got some go that are going to be really exposing each other in terms of people that maybe aren't built for a 2-hour game. So this last 15 minutes, I'm thinking there's a goal in this one, and we could see ourselves here, with the result one way or another.
Of course, the rule is that they are actually supposed to just switch straight over at half-time of extra time, so we will be sticking with it.
Hydration levels are really important. Some guys have just got to get something in, so that's what that's all about. Can't blame them. All right, we're away again. So McNaughton seems to be okay.
Yeah, he was having some problems with his thigh earlier, but
He
looks
seems
like he's
to be
resurrected.
moving all right at the moment.
There's Grant Brown. Gee, with the fatigue as well, keeping that one inside the sideline on this near side, that was fantastic work.
Is where you're going to see, the character of players coming out. That you can see that they'll be desperately tired, and it's just a matter of now who wants it more.
Looks like Grant Brown's got some padding on that right arm.
Yeah, he did. He broke his wrist, I believe.
That game that he had that fall, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
May have been that game that Lambton had plenty of injuries against Edgeworth. That really physical game. Free kick going the way now. Going the way of Hamilton. Lambton. I've got to get myself back to knowing which way these two sides are running. We've had so many changes of ends, but Lambton from left to right and Hamilton right to left.
Yeah, so
Danny
Brown
Island.
did break his wrist. It was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, so it would have been... Yeah, that would have been pretty right. Around 15, about 4 weeks, yep. And McNaughton on the ball now for them. Matt Swanee passed it wide to Luke Remington. And now Swan. Now for Goodchild. Still Goodchild on the ball. Andrew Swan on the throw. On the free kick, I should say. Second half of extra time. So 13 minutes to go. Down the line. Here's Remington. Lets it run on past Swan. No
Remington's
foul.
got plenty of left in him, He's this guy. He looks like he'd play for another hour, no problem.
He could be the man to stand up for Lambton. If they're to get a goal, I think he may be the man.
Could well be. I mean, like with respect to other players, like for example, Majerovski, he manages his time out there. He knows this game goes into extra time. He's got to be a part of that. So what he does is in his game, he's very smart. He's not going to move unnecessarily. He'll make sure his runs are when they need to be. They'll be timely and they'll be in the right places generally. So he's not going to do any extra work. Whereas Remington, he's just not going to stop. He's going to go all day and he'll keep going tomorrow if you want him to. So, different players have got to manage themselves in different ways.
Well, here's Reece Cooper now goes to ground. Here's the
This could
yellow
be a
card.
yellow card, yep.
Going, I believe that was Riley McNaughton.
It was. He pulls out one there because it's against the run of play and he's getting his team back in position so they get behind the ball again and they can reset themselves back up.
Here's Davies chipping one forward. Sessions comes off him. A corner now for Hamilton. Hamilton fans have migrated up the other end of the ground. And Tom Smart now stretching out on that near post for Lambton. Cramping up as well, so plenty of that going on.
You'll see how tightly they're marked up here in this type of, and it's been happening all game. No surprises, but the desperation and how close they'll stay even when the ball's been struck.
All eyes fixed on Hamilton. Referee going down. Problem with the corner flag, I think. It's come out of the ground, has it? No? Race Cooper just having some problems down there. Incredible. Corner flag bending into his path a bit.
Players looking straight into the sun here, so this is a very, very dangerous proposition for Lambton.
Here it is. It's whipped in towards the back post. It's beaten everyone. Good child running down towards the far corner now. Can he
this time they can see.
Still good child. Stab one across. It goes away from goal. Now the volley over the top. Swancott just a goal kick for him. So we've got 10.5 to go now. Second half of extra time here on Bar TV. Semi-final number 2. The second leg. Now Hodges. McPherson getting under that one. Swan. Now Tom Davies. Playing it wide. Pat Brown's after it. Swancott's there, but Swancott comes out and grabs it. Just running a little bit too far for Pat Brown on that occasion. Palozzi trying to flick it on, but Davies. Now good child. Reece Cooper with plenty of space. He comes to Swancott. Reece Cooper, and he scores for Hamilton. And what a massive goal that is from Hamilton's number 10. Down with the supporters at the far end of the ground, and it's 2-2.
They are going absolutely crazy down that bottom end of the park. There's about 8.5 minutes left to go. Terrific balling behind, and what a great finish. He did so well to get off his defender and create some space outward coming Ireland, and he slotted it into the corner. It seemed like an eternity for it to hit the back of the net, but I tell you what, the Olympic fans have just gone crazy.
Well, Lambton need 2 goals now, and here's the change. So coming on for Lambton is Aiden Palozzi, and it's Tom Smart that's going off. So as you'd expect, they're going for the attacking move, Lambton.
How quickly things change, and Aiden's a younger brother of Alex. And this probably, I'm not sure if this is his first start or not in first grade, but what a time to come on.
Here's Remington controlling it. Matt Swan. Lovely skill from Luke Remington. Jacob Bailey coming into his back and winning the free kick. So Lambton, they've got to play quickly now. Got 8.5 minutes.
So the desperation here in the defence from Olympics is going to be really important. See how they numbered up really closely together. And even after the ball's struck, they stay close.
Here's Sessions. A long way. Gee, Michael Sessions hit that nicely, but it was a handball against him.
Yeah, and that's just out of frustrations from Sesho.
Grabbing a yellow. Was it a yellow card? Did the referee bring out the yellow card against him? Or
I don't think so, no. And look, he's done a terrific job on Goodchild today. He's been busy. He's held the ball up well, but Sessions has made sure he's kept him as quiet as he's going to be kept. That's not going to worry Goodchild too much at the moment, though, I can tell you, because his side sitting in front in the dying stages of the game.
Ball over the top now, running down towards the corner. Here's Brown.
And what can happen for Olympic in these types of situations too is that they've got a goal. So all of that fatigue they're feeling, they're cramping, now they've got some extra adrenaline in, and that's going to carry them, well over the next 10 minutes.
Great to have your company here on Bar TV this afternoon. Hayden Palozzi going up, out on the ground for Lambton. 2-2, Lambton and Hamilton. What a cracking contest it's been today. Hasn't been a great spectacle of a game, but what a contest it's been. A tough battle between 2 of the heavyweights of the competition. Going into the corner, Matt Swan now. Goes down. Here's a little bit of push and shove. Sessions and Swan down in the corner. Emotions boiling over. Referee's going to call them both over. Yes, he is. Referee's going to get them both to come over. Here comes the card. Michael Sessions is going to get a yellow one. Yellow card for him. He gets one. Don't know if Matt Swan not giving any at all. I think he was just on the receiving end. Whether he said something to Michael Sessions, we don't know.
Can't hear that from here, but what I can say is that, Sessions has done a terrific job today, and, he's probably just feeling a bit frustrated right now because he would totally expect that they'd be going through today, and he'd be feeling quite frustrated and disappointed at this point in time.
There's Mick Bolch on the bottom of the screen there, barking out orders to his side, but isn't it incredible? Lambton, you expected, leading 2-0, to go through. This one's played across the face.
Yeah, and some of those orders that Bolts will be screaming out to his players is he doesn't want anything down in his bottom end of the park now. He wants everything to be played down in Lambton's end and see out the game with as much possession down in their end as possible. Again, like we said it before, as soon as we start moving into their own defensive territory, as in Hamilton's, that's when chances are going to create. So he's going to feel much safer playing down there into the park, and that's exactly what he'd be saying to them right now.
Lambton now with a free kick, so, well, they've got to score. As simple as that. They've got to score one and then allow themselves to grab another one if they want to get through. Here's McNaughton. Hamilton fans all of a sudden finding their voice. McNaughton goes over the top. Ireland's there as well. Ireland with the punch. And the free kick goes to Hamilton. Well, I'm surprised about that. I think it was Majorowski. It must have been the challenge between
that looked
him and
borderline
Ireland.
being outside of the penalty area. I'm not quite sure whether it was or it wasn't. He's placing it inside the area to make a statement, but it seemed like he was reaching outside.
Assistant referee here just making sure, well, he would have seen it had it been, so obviously not. Michael Williams now over the top. Majorowski flicking it on. Cleared away by Reece Cooper. Well, now I think Hamilton definitely getting everyone back. They need to concede 2 to be knocked out at this point, so they can afford to sit back a little deeper with that 2-goal cushion. Here's Goodchild down in the corner. It's gone pretty quiet here at Arthur Eden.
It sure has. And you know, we spoke about Jacob Bailey earlier. He hasn't done anything that anyone's going to say that's changed the game or he's looked like he's going to score. But what he has done, he's been in every tackle that he needed to be. He's been positionally very strong. He's made sure his team has been guided well around the park. And as a midfielder, you want him in the middle of your park because he's going to never give up on you and he'll always make sure that he's in the right positions defensively and also in attack. And he's done that today superbly, and I've really liked the way he's gone about his business. And he and others, but are a big reason why they've got their noses in front at the moment.
Here's Remington playing it wide to Grant Brown now. Coming forward, playing it across the face. Now Alex Palozzi probably hasn't had the impact he would have liked to have on this game. Wide to Aiden Palozzi now. Palozzi across the face. Majorowski, can he hold it up and get a shot away? He can't, and gee, big chance for Lambton there. If they'd have put that one in, it would have made the final few moments of this game a little bit more interesting.
So I haven't seen much of Aiden Palozzi, but I tell you, it obviously comes from a strong footballing family, but that crossing in the box at critical time, it's a fantastic play from him. Couldn't deliver a better ball than that.
Well, it's been a fantastic season, though, for both these sides, including Lambton as well. And you'd expect...
They've both had cracker seasons, and both, that's why this game has been as entertaining as what it has been, because they're both very competitive, they're well structured, they're well organised, and they've got great footballers in both sides.
If Lambton do go at it, will be the first time they haven't made the grand final in the last couple of years, so a little disappointing for them, but gee, what a successful 3-year period they've had, Lambton.
Yeah, they've worked hard for a number of years, and they were sitting in second division for a long time, and in fact worked their way up through the grades over probably 20 years. And there's a lot of old boys at the club that worked very, very hard to build them to where they are today. And then when they did get promoted into the top league, they weren't just making up the numbers. They were there, and they've been a force, and they've been a really strong team in this local league. And having A-League players come into the club, just a testament to how much hard work has gone in.
What do you think's been the difference between this year and last year for Lambton in terms of finals and not making the grand final this year opposed to last year? Do you think there's any difference, or do you think it's just the other sides have maybe got better?
Look, at this level, it's so competitive each week, and I don't want to sit on the fence with any of this stuff. But you have a look at Olympic. For me, I was speaking to Bolchi earlier in the year. They're fitter. They've spent a lot of time working on how they're going to play, and they've been very careful in their selection. So.
Grant Brown grabbing a yellow card for the high foot on Goodchild there.
So I think that Hamilton have definitely come up a peg or two up the ladder since last year, because I know that they concentrated on getting their fitness right before they started at the beginning of the year.
Pat Brown making way, coming off the ground. He's had a great game this afternoon. He scored the goal that got us into extra time this afternoon. Looks like
And he's had
pretty
a great
happy.
game today too. He's really done, and he'll get a good clap because he deserves one.
Coming on, Alex Serapar, number 18 for them. But it was Reece Cooper with the goal 10 minutes ago that grabbed the aggregate lead for Hamilton. Goes down to the sideline. Lambton with the throw. Riley McNaughton goes into the middle of the ground. Gorotich, Matt Swan, back for Reece Cooper now. Still Reece Cooper on the ball. Going down towards the corner, and Riley McNaughton takes it off him. Goes to Majorowski. Majorowski, he's had a fantastic year, John Majorowski, and we've got a free kick going Lambton's way. Gorotich going into the referee's book for a yellow card.
Alex Serapar has just come on. He's only 17 years old, and he's just been recently in the Australian under-18 futsal side. So you can obviously play. So they'll be looking for something late from him.
Free kick here, Lambton. We're into the dying embers now of their season. Now, Chris, just quickly, man of the match today. Were you going Jacob Bailey?
Yeah, look, I can't go past Jacob. I know Brad Swancott's had a terrific game. There's been some others. Remington, for example, he's played very well. But it's the things that you don't see Jacob do, regularly. It's the things that go unnoticed that caught my eye because he's just worked hard in that area of the park all day. And as I said before, his ability to be in the right positions when he needs to be is really important. You see when play shifts from end to end, he's always adjusting himself throughout the park, and that drags other players with you, and he's a good leader out there for them, and I think he's done exactly what Hamilton needed today. So for me, he's definitely my man of the match.
We'll see if we can grab him at the end of the game, Jacob Bailey. Good child running down towards the corner. Michael Sessions knocking it away. Good child still down in that corner. Back to Serapar. Goes across to Matt Swan. Can he add a nail in the coffin? Matt Swan, he puts it wide. Gee, very, very close to grabbing his 5th of the year. There's the goal kick from Swancott.
He's done everything right there. He's got a great dummy in, put himself in position to score. Just the angles that Swancott put him on.
Here's
forced it wide.
McNaughton down the line. Aidan Palozzi in the corner. Sun setting here at Arthur Eden Oval. The final NPL game here of the season. Played across the face. A little bit too much on that one. Pete McPherson after it, down into the corner. We've got a minute and a half of stoppage time in the second half of extra time. And, gee, congratulations to all the players out there today. Gee, they have given us a wonderful, wonderful spectacle of gritty, determined football. Hamilton fans asking for the whistle.
Yeah, they certainly have. They'll be out on their feet, and they're still going, giving everything they've got.
Down the line. Referee whistled them out, and that is full time. Hamilton are through to the grand final in 2015. And what a game we saw. It was really a game of two halves out there. Lambton probably for the first, I'd say, what do we have out there today? We had 120 minutes. I'd say the first 60 minutes was all Lambton. The last 60 minutes, Hamilton came right back into it. Lambton led 2-0. They'll feel like it was an opportunity lost for them. But in the end, Hamilton, well, they showed a fighting quality out there this afternoon, Chris. And we'll try and grab Jacob Bailey. What were your thoughts on this afternoon's match?
Yeah, I think when you go in at half-time like Lambton did, they come in at, the goal absolutely at half-time, and they would have gone with a spring in the step for sure. You know what? Both teams really played out a gutsy performance today, and we've spoken about most things today, Ben, in terms of how the match played out. But, Hamilton thoroughly deserved to be in the grand final, and they'll be absolutely excited and delighted about the way the game's panned out for them today. The goal from Pat Brown was just simply quality ball from Swan, and the timing of his run and where he needed to be, for me, it was probably the play of the day.
Oh, just the contest out there. You don't have to have a really good spectacle, as we did last Saturday, to have a good contest. Gee, both sides put their heart and soul into that one this afternoon. And it doesn't get much better than that. Extra time. Reece Cooper with the speed, with the fitness. Probably one of Hamilton's fitter players. And he grabbed one. I'll just try and grab Jacob Bailey if you just want to give us a summary of that performance, Chris.
Yeah, and that's right. And I think most teams now will be very excited about setting up for a game. Edgeworth got through yesterday, and they did it in good form. They really had to grind that one out. And then today, Olympic have just grinded this one out as well. Overall, Michael Bolts will be very, very happy.
He's Jacob. I just had a chat to him, so we'll put it on at the end. He's just going in to celebrate that one, as you'd say, as you'd expect from Hamilton's number 8 out there, Jacob Bailey. So I'll have a chat to him. We'll put that up at the end of the game. But Chris, just an outstanding match.
This is why we love finals football. It brings out everything that everyone wants to see. Just saying hello to Simon Mooney's mother and father, Tim and Lynn. So everyone loves this type of atmosphere. This has produced everything that we wanted it to be, and it could have gone either way. And we know that Hamilton are just about to lift the roof in there with their team song. Michael Bolch did invite me into the shed for it after the game, but just staying neutral, I said I'd just hang outside with you, mate. But look, they'll be ecstatic in there, and plenty of souvlaki tonight, and also some Greek dancing, and maybe a bit of plate throwing could be on the cards.
I must say, I have gone to the Greek restaurant in Hamilton, and gee, I love going there. It's good fun, but
well, it could well be rocking tonight. I can tell you that.
I'm sure it will be. It's been great to have your company. Unfortunately, next week, it's most likely that we won't be live because NBN have got the rights to the grand final. So we'll see what happens. We'll see everything that occurs. If we are doing it delayed, we'll let you know. But most likely that will be the case. So in 2015, it's been great to have your company this season. It's been great to be with you every week for this whole season, the 18 rounds, the 2 finals. Thank you for all your support this season. And it's really been wonderful, my first season here with Bar TV. And Chris as well. Blake, who's been here for most of the season, he's been wonderful. And Chris as well for filling in all the time when we've needed you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and you guys are doing a great job. And the general feedback is that people really enjoy watching, and it's good for players and coaches too because they can have a review of where they're up to. So keep up the good work.
Once again, everyone, thank you for so much for this season. Hamilton are lifting the roof off that change room. It was 2-2 this afternoon. Hamilton won on aggregate by 4-3. I'll probably see you next season. Until then, it's goodbye.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.